Hello, hello, hello. This is from Curved Horns, and my name is Cody Craftiver. I'll be your host this evening. Tonight we have with us a special world-traveling guest whose name is Jeremiah Brewer. He's been all over the world.
Lies, not all over the world.
Over. So, just a quick shout-out. You can find us on Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Breaker, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, and, of course, on YouTube, where you can see our lovely, beautiful faces while you listen to us talk about bullshit. So, JB, it's been a long time, buddy.
Has it?
I mean, since we've known each other.
Yeah. No, it definitely has.
We were
For
talking
a long time.
Like, we were talking about that before off camera, like when we were talking about how long it's been since we both lived in that same apartment.
Sure.
And, man, I was thinking about it, and I couldn't help but miss it. And it made me think about, why do we miss those times when we were struggling in life?
Nostalgia, I guess, in a way.
You think we, like, romanticize the struggle?
Probably.
I mean, like, you know, we started from the bottom, now we're here.
Because I think after some time and thought of it, it really wasn't that bad. Maybe that's what it is.
Oh, like worse shit has happened since then that you're like, wow, that was nothing.
Maybe. Or you've just had time to process everything that happened in that moment. Because you're living in the moment, most people don't really think about what's really going on in the moment. They're just kind of there. And then after time and thought, they're like, well,
yeah, a little bit.
Maybe it was a little fucked up. Or
a little bit of distance.
Maybe it wasn't really that bad. I mean, yeah, it wasn't the greatest, but it really...
Listen, I had fun.
Yeah, I had a good time
regardless.
too. I had a good time too.
My favorite thing of all time was to make y'all listen to that fucking Shia LaBeouf video. It just
jumping on the bed, but I think
I was like, this motherfucker belong in the WWE, but he is on SmackDown.
Butt ass naked though.
That was so good. Like that was the most surprising thing for me too. I was like, holy shit, the kid from Holes is just out here flapping his dick.
And then he did that movie, Nymphomaniac.
Is that what that was? It like a promo for that, or
I don't know exactly. I didn't watch it. It's a 2-part movie. It's 2 separate movies of all of the same thing, part 1 and part 2. I made it through maybe like 40 minutes of the first one.
And he was out.
I didn't care about it anymore. Like nothing really seriously happened in it. It was about this girl who was a nymphomaniac. And one of the characters was Shia LaBeouf's character. And I'm like, cool, I guess. It could have came from that movie. I don't know. Or it could have been something related to that movie.
Well, they made it up like it was some kind of music video. And there was no words in the video at all. Yeah. But at the very end of the video, they pop back up in bed like they did at the very beginning of the video to make it a loop. And if you actually watch it, it's actually the story of drug addicts throughout their day. And I always found that interesting, and it captivated me just because of they wake up, everything's cool.
Right.
They get some drugs, then they lose their shit, and then they come back home, and then one person has a trigger, and the whole night is fucked.
Oh, yeah.
Then they fight, then they fall asleep or pass the fuck out after they tore the whole place up, and then they're like, oh, hey, good morning. I'm sorry about being crazy last night. I was like, you white trash sons of bitches. Yeah. This feels like home.
Oh, yeah. No, I didn't fully watch that thing other than what you tried to show me and our other roommates there. But, and then like I said, I don't believe, now that you said that, I don't think it had any tie to those movies. Because I don't think, like I said, I didn't watch both movies in full, but I think it was more about the lead female character being a nymphomaniac.
Okay.
And he was just another character that was a part of it.
Was they fucking?
I think they would have. I didn't make it that far.
Oh, dog. You got to see it through, my boy.
I'll probably, at some point in my life, maybe go back and be interested and watch it again, but...
Probably not.
Yeah, it is what it is.
You ain't got a lot to kick it, JB. I know you ain't going back.
I'm not. I mean, I might. You never know.
So like, I'm one of those people. Like I've missed so many movies that everybody's like, you haven't seen this, and I'm like, yeah, no.
I'm the same there with you, but with TV shows.
With TV shows,
I'm horrible with it. Like,
well, see, like I don't have cable. I've only got Netflix.
Sure.
Like I've got Netflix. So I think I've got Amazon Prime. Because they're wanting so much for cable now, and it's just like, why would I pay for some shit that I don't even watch?
Yeah.
You know?
I get you. Cable's expensive. It's worthless, in my opinion. I mean, I get it. for certain things, like New Year's Eve. Like we always like sign up for like Sling just for that month, just so we can watch the ball drop. But other than that, no, I don't use it at all. I have no purpose in it.
I'm not sure. Like, can you watch the ball drop live on your phone?
I think you can now. Like, I think especially from, good old Rona and everything that happened.
Oh, yeah.
I think that last year's one was definitely probably available on.
Yeah, I didn't watch it. I didn't watch ball drop. I was over at Ryan's house when that happened.
Honest, it's the same thing every year.
Every listen, you're giving out spoiler alerts.
Every year, it's musical guests, the two hosts drinking and babbling on. Like, this is the one time you actually see like regular TV hosts drinking. Because it's like, fuck it, it's the new year. Why not? Let's bring in the new year.
I never knew that. I never knew that they were all drinking.
Well, at least last year's was. It was real weird because it was like the one that we were watching. It had Anderson Cooper and somebody else.
I'm just getting smashed.
Oh,
bro.
yeah, they were drinking.
It was like, fuck his ball.
Yeah, they were. I mean,
get this year out of here.
At least they made it seem like they were. But, I mean, it's New Year, whatever.
So, like, can you imagine having to act drunk?
No.
I think about that a lot with actors. You know, why... how? Not me. Like, I'm going to learn my lines to where I know my lines. Like, backwards, frontwards, sideways.
Sure.
And then I'm going to really get drunk on set.
Yeah, but then I think it comes in... You get drunk and then you just start talking about anything and you'll just randomly like go off in a tangent.
Oh, that's clips for fucking TMZ, bud. Send them out.
But I mean,
send them out.
They've only got a specific amount of time to make the movie. And
that's not true.
They do.
That's not true. They've postponed so much shit.
You're right, but that postponing costs them a lot of money.
Does it though?
I'm sure.
Or does it just pause?
I'm sure it costs money.
You
I'm sure it does. I'm willing to bet that like. They do, obviously, they have a production schedule.
Right.
And if you guys start going over that production, they probably purchase enough for a little bit of leadway in case something stupid was to happen. Like an actor or an actress gets injured or whatever. But I'm sure there's a limit. And outside of that limit, it's going to start costing.
Do you think it costs for the set or the space or...
Probably.
Like they have to rent out the building for the space?
Probably. I'm assuming. Or if it's like... somewhere that's like in a city.
Dude, that was some of the wildest shit growing up, finding out that like, you know, you see all these TV shows and things and they're sets. They don't just go to a building and film.
Yeah. No, it's a set.
It's a set. Because I remember watching Friends growing up. I always wondered, I was like, how the hell did they get into this nook and cranny of this apartment?
Like, what about the fucking apartment?
Yeah, like what about the people that fucking live there normally? Can you imagine how frustrating that'd be? Like going out, you're like, God damn it, Chandler, get out of my way, you know?
Action at like 4 in the morning.
No, sir. Fuck Joey, run out. How you doing? Like, Joey, I'm not in for your shit today, bud. Go, get out of here.
Yeah.
But then I found out that there's sets and it's just this giant building, and then they build a little building inside it. I was just blew my fucking mind, man. I was like, everything is fake.
And then you're 4 years old and you think the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park are real. So you realize they're not. And you're like, my life is ruined.
Yeah. Yeah. So I remember going to the movies with my dad when Jurassic Park 2 come out. It was down there back where Center Point Church is now. Down in Central Center. I had a blast. I was like, wow, it's a big old dinosaur.
I remember when I was watching Jurassic Park on TV and it scared the shit out of me.
Yeah,
I remember that. Like I was scared. I don't know why.
I was never scared of movies like that. But like I was one of those unfortunate children that got to stay up late enough to watch Chucky.
Yeah.
For no fucking reason.
Yeah.
Like it's cool. It's just
I was the same. Yeah.
Maniacal doll, and then Grandma brought home a fucking good guy Chuck doll. Like 2 weeks later, I was like, I will fucking destroy you.
You better not move. You better not fucking move.
But she always had like porcelain dolls and all kinds of shit like that too.
So creep me the fuck out. Porcelain dolls. Bad. Even to this day, I see if I go into somebody's house and they got porcelain dolls up, I am creeped out.
Mm-hmm.
They're fucking creepy.
It's even the baby doll ones, they're okay. But Grandma had like the 4-year-old size ones. It's like, I'm not fighting no fucking 4-year-old size porcelain doll.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it.
Nope, I'm good.
They're always worse if they don't have eyes too.
I don't think I've seen one without eyes.
Oh yeah.
Even like.
So she had the kiln and everything, so she made them. I got to see.
She made them without eyes.
Oh, so when they're clay.
Yeah.
So when you get them in the kiln, they come back out and the head is just completely empty, and it has no eyes. There's no color on their face at all. Like you got to do all that.
Gotcha.
You got to put like.
You got to sculpt everything.
Well, they're already pretty sculpted. You just got to like stand off the excess.
Sure.
But then you start putting in the components, so you got to stuff the head with cotton, and then you got to put the eyes in. You got to make sure they do what they're supposed to do.
Is it cotton in all of them?
Probably not.
Probably not. You're gonna crack one open and see fucking like.
Well, there are a lot of them that wouldn't even
organs.
A lot of them wouldn't even deal with stuffing them because they're porcelain pieces.
Sure.
They just let it go because most of them have a just a hole at the end, and what they would do is they'd wrap the cloth around it, and then they would stitch it into them.
Gotcha.
So you just had like a beanbag with 4 or 5 appendages of porcelain.
No, I'm good. It's they're I don't get it. I don't get why people like them so much. They're creepy. They are creepy. Even like, and it goes to the same thing with like old fucking paintings of children.
Oh yeah,
they're creepy too.
Yeah, especially like the ones that they're like sitting. They don't even look like they're alive.
Yep.
Because you never know with them old paintings because they probably weren't. Like little Jimmy died when he was 5. Well, we don't have any pictures of him. Better fucking get him dressed for the painter.
Let's hold him up for 8 hours while this painter.
Oh man, so weird. So like, I would much rather have a weekend at Bernie's than that shit.
Right. Absolutely. God.
So, you've been across the world?
Not across the world.
I mean, you've left Ohio, right?
I have. I left the country.
I mean, as soon as you leave Ohio, you're a world traveler.
I guess.
That's the way it works for Chillicothe.
I guess. Well, that's probably the way it is for most people. Most people probably really don't leave their state very much.
Yeah.
They may go on vacation to like Disneyland or Myrtle Beach, but outside of, I didn't go to any like tourist attraction places.
So where did you go?
So it started with me going up to Alaska. I lived in a town called Wasilla, same city that Sarah Palin was from.
Ew.
No, you cannot see Russia from there. He's a liar. Not in her backyard.
You can't see Russia?
Oh, you can see mountains. You don't see Russia.
What if those mountains are Russia?
It'd be a little weird. That means they're very close. Very close. And then lived there. It's probably, Wasilla's probably about the same travel distance from Chillicothe to Columbus.
Okay.
About an hour to get there. To Anchorage.
To Anchorage? I was going to say, if you're about to tell me it took an hour to get there.
No, I meant to Anchorage.
Okay.
Which Anchorage is obviously a lot bigger. A hell of a lot bigger than Wasilla.
I mean, it's a lot more well known.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think that's the only town that I know of in Alaska.
Because Juneau's their capital.
Yeah. Okay, you got me with Juneau.
Juneau is much further south.
I feel like I know one more Alaska city.
Probably some off-the-wall city. Like I know in the movie The Fourth Kind, they were in, I think, Nome, Alaska. It's probably in or Fairbanks. You might know that one.
So I actually knew both of those. I just wasn't thinking about them. No, this one's a big one. The one that fucking Bolto ran the vaccine to.
It might have been Juneau.
Was it Juneau?
Funny enough, I think there was something in Alaska related to that because obviously dog sledding.
Yeah, that's where the Bolto is actually based off of a true story.
Yeah.
I just can't remember what city they were actually going.
It went through Wasilla.
Did it really?
Yeah. There was this like little like plaque mural thing.
Dude, that was one of my favorite movies growing up as a kid.
It wasn't my when I was growing up as a kid, I watched a lot of Return of the Jedi and Terminator.
Two types of
Terminator
children.
2 to be exact.
Two types of children's.
Yeah.
I mean, I had the Disney Vault, man, so it was like.
So did I, but I still gravitated towards
Some of us aren't as hardcore as others.
Listen,
okay.
There was really no restriction.
That's fair.
For me, but.
So living up there, a lot of people think that it's just winter 24/7 up there. Is it?
No. Definitely not. No, most of the year, at least where I lived, most of the year it was winter. So probably, I think it was like late August ish to about the end, or about sometime in May, winter for the most part. May was when it was starting to warm up and everything was starting to melt. And it's the same way with August. That's when it was starting to get cold and shit was about to get real. But really, legitimately, like the summer months, that was it for like real warm weather. And it wouldn't get really hot. I think it would normally get about 70 during the summertime.
Yeah.
On like a real good day. Other days it would probably be like somewhere in like the 60s.
Now, do you think it was beautiful up there?
It's very beautiful.
So what you're saying is people were messing up. So like, you know, the Florida birds, where they go to Florida for the wintertime and then they come back to Ohio during the summer.
I mean, it's probably the same way.
You think that's the thing when I could just go to Alaska during the summertime so I'm not dying in Ohio's heat?
Yeah, you could.
And then come back to Ohio winter.
Where it's not. Well, I'll tell you,
so
like
I'm not
the
dealing with
wintertime
9-foot snowbanks.
The wintertime there was not bad. I mean, it obviously there's a hell of a lot more snow up there than there ever is in Ohio. It's really weird because it's kind of like a cliche stereotype of Midwestern people to be like, oh, if it wasn't for the wind, it wouldn't be that bad. But I'm not kidding you. Living up there, I think the coldest I ever had up there, it was like -10. And walking out there, yeah, it was cold. But it wasn't like how it is here when it's like 20 degrees and the wind is blowing like fucking 70 miles an hour and you got that real bad wind chill and you're literally just shivering from the second you get outside.
Yeah, sapping your heat.
It wasn't like that. It was cold. It was very, very cold, but it wasn't. I'm sure I'd be shivering and almost dying if I stayed out there long enough, but walking out there and feeling and everything else, it really wasn't that bad. So it's really weird. Yeah, it's a cliche Midwestern stereo thing, but
I mean,
I experienced it firsthand.
So did you see any meese?
Oh, I saw a shitload of moose.
Yeah?
They're huge.
Like how huge? How big?
Huge. Bigger than an SUV, huge.
Well, yeah, so like I keep seeing this video of this one moose. He's just walking down the middle of this highway and people are like in reverse to get video of this thing.
Yeah.
And it is just monstrous.
Yeah, it is. They are gigantic. Like,
why aren't we riding these things?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Can they not be broken?
Maybe not. I don't know, because we could easily ride them. They're like, they're easily like, they're either the same size as like a really good horse or bigger. I'd probably say they're a little bit bigger. They're taller than a horse. That's for sure. Their legs are fucking long.
You're talking like Clydesdale?
Yeah. Their legs are like really long and lanky.
Oh, okay.
But they got a lot of girth on them, the actual body.
Did you ever get to touch one?
No. They were where I was living, the house I was living in, they had their backyard had this, like, it was this flat spot and then it had this incline that went up this hill, and fairly often waking up, walking out towards the kitchen area, they have their big like back door that you can open up. They'd be out there in the backyard, sometimes just laying there.
Now, did the family you're staying with, did they keep you inside during that?
What do you mean?
Because like I've seen a lot of posts where people are like, "Oh, I would love to go pet a moose," and then people from Alaska are like, "No, the fuck you wouldn't."
I mean, they didn't like force keep me in there, but
they're like, "Hey,
they didn't encourage me to go out there." It was always great walking out to the kitchen and like grabbing something to drink, just wake up, walk out there, see a couple of moose, and then they had a couple of cats as well as a dog, and seeing one of the cats just out there just chilling there next to the moose, like it was no big deal.
Yeah. See, I always thought that they'd be meaner.
No, they really weren't. I mean, they from the ones that I've seen, they weren't aggressive. Most of that was just in their backyard. I have seen accidents caused by moose.
I bet that looks horrible.
Oh, the vehicle got destroyed. Like, it's worse than a deer hitting a deer. Way worse. And it's so great because they treat that up there, at least where I was living, kind of the same way as like around here does with deer. Because like when you're going down the highway, either way, either going towards Anchorage or going back to Wasilla, they had these signs up on the side on the highway about moose, about watching out for moose, and like how many moose have been killed this year from car
67
accidents.
fucking moose.
Yeah, and stuff like that. And I'm like, all right. But then I actually see it. I didn't actually see it happen, but I saw the aftermath of a car that hit a moose, and that car was gone. There ain't no saving that car.
What about bears?
I didn't see any bears up close. I saw one bear way out. We were driving up to Fairbanks, and a lot of openness. It's a very boring drive.
Yeah.
But, oh yeah, very boring drive.
I feel like Alaska is just so fucking huge, and everybody is super spread out. It's like,
yeah. So Alaska is hands down the largest state.
Yeah.
In the United States. The thing is that there is like, out of the entire state of Alaska, I think maybe less than. I would want to assume that easily less than 25% of the state is inhabited by humans. The rest of it is all just natural wildlife, like forests and stuff like that.
Fuck, why can't it be like that here?
Oh, you know.
About to take this screen away. I don't think I done broke it.
Did you?
Oh no, it just needs to tighten back up.
Okay. Yeah, but it's so like going from place like city to city, there is a lot of distance that needs to be covered. Like, fortunately, to get to Anchorage, it wasn't that bad because it's a main highway there. But like to go from where I was at Wasilla to like Fairbanks, fucking takes forever, and there's barely anything in between.
So I went. Now, granted, this is not in comparison, but I went down to Tennessee 2 years ago, and I flew into Nashville.
Yep.
I didn't even think about where my friend lived at that time, but they lived half an hour above Memphis. I was like, oh, those two are probably pretty close.
No.
And they're like, no, we got a 6-hour drive home, homie. I was like, geez. So I was like,
yeah.
So this year when I went down, I was like, you know what? I'm going to fly straight into Memphis. It's closer.
Sure.
Nope. No flight straight to Memphis. Got to go through Atlanta, Georgia, and then back up. And I was like, gee, why? Because
most of the time with airports, they only go to your major ones only go to very specific places, and then you take like an off-connect flight from wherever you landed to the next town. Like, I guarantee, because there's an airport in Ross County,
a little tiny baby.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure those are just off connects. I'm pretty sure that ain't somebody coming from like California,
right?
Dropping off right down into outside of Chillicothe. But
I'm pretty sure there's like 4 people planes. Like, there's not many people in those
I've been
planes.
in a small plane.
Oh, fuck that. That sounds scary as shit, bud.
We'll get to that. But bears, we were driving up to Fairbanks, and I was just watching nature. That's really the only thing to do. And way out in this big open clearing, I saw a bear. As far as I know, it was a bear. It looked like a bear. It didn't look like a Bigfoot, but it was just running across the field.
I mean,
it was too small to be a Bigfoot. So
it's Skinwalker.
Maybe. I think Skinwalkers are more Appalachian region. That's the only places that I ever hear Skinwalkers come from, is around the Appalachian region. So
I mean, did you do the Midwestern thing? Hey, look, a bear.
No, I didn't.
Oh, you failed us.
Yeah.
You traitor.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't really think much of it at the time I saw it, and I'm just like, oh, all right, cool, bear.
Not me, but oh, fuck, it's a bear.
Well, it was too far away.
Oh,
but
I will roll down that window and I will scream my heart out.
One thing I did find out not too long ago, I think it was last week, there's a little city that I went to a few times up there called Talkeetna. Pretty cool, like little hole in the wall, like kind of touristy place, but it's really only touristy for people that live in Alaska. Like, I didn't see people coming from what they call the lower 48 going to fucking Talkeetna, because it's literally like Bainbridge. You sneeze and you miss it.
Okay.
Kind of ordeal. But apparently, even during the time that I was living in Alaska, their mayor was a cat.
That's cute.
A cat.
That's cute. I'm not even going to be mad about that. Probably making the best decisions for his people.
I guess. I don't know.
That's kind of like stay the fuck away from me. Don't pet me.
Yeah, it was a cool little town. I mean, it was mostly like, obviously, up there in Alaska, most of the things that do involve something around with nature, like hiking, stuff like that. A lot of trails, a lot of rada going on with that kind of crap. Me being as big as I am, I ain't about that life, but still did it from here to there. Yeah, we did a.
I can just see you in all your gear, harness stuff.
Yeah, no.
Got that 40-pound rucksack.
Fuck that, bud. I'd get 10 feet out the car, and I'd be like, nah,
I'm going home.
Yeah, time to go. I'm good. I experienced it. No.
Was it humid during the summer? Interesting, because I feel like all the snow, all the water, it's up there. I feel like it'd melt away, and then it would just be fucking humid.
No. It was not humid at all, or at least not. No, I don't ever remember it being like humid like how it is here.
So I mean, if you had the chance to suggest somebody to go to Alaska, would you?
Absolutely. It's a very beautiful place. It really is. There's a lot of, if you like outdoors like stuff, like seeing like beautiful open fields, mountains, what iceberg glacier things are there. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's a very, very, very beautiful place for sure. If you really want to experience it, go do it in the wintertime.
Do it in the wintertime?
But if you don't really want to have that full Alaskan experience, then just do it in the summer and it's perfect.
I'm so good on not having that experience.
It's a whole different thing. The wintertime here, it's a whole different thing compared to the wintertime there. Because it's just nonstop fucking snow. I mean, it's required by law for residents that live there to change their tires to snow tires.
Damn.
Yeah. Like you have to.
I'm tired of pulling your fucking ass out of the ditch.
Like they when it gets to that time when winter's coming, they have all kinds of advertisements on like the radio telling you, like different car places telling you to come in, get them snow tires, all out rada, everything else. And yeah, I mean, it's legit shit. And even with snow tires, you could still.
Oh, duh. They're just tires, man.
Yeah, but I mean,
the snow's still going to cake.
Oh, you would expect a little bit more I mean, it's definitely a lot better than a regular tire, that's for sure.
Like, if you're not putting a fucking tank track on my shit, it's probably not going to work.
I slid off into a ditch twice.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Did you freak?
No, surprisingly. First one was...
Did your Ohio instincts kick in? God damn it.
Pretty much. I was like, oh, fuck. No, the first time me and my buddy, we were heading home. I forget where we were going, but we were coming back home and made this turn, and either ice or snow just caught the back end of it. And we just went whoop, right into a ditch, front into a ditch. My buddy's dad had to get his big old truck and like latch it up on there and pull it out. The second time we were driving their SUV, and we didn't even make it off of their road. And slid into like this. It wasn't a ditch, but it was like where all the snow was plowed over from the road. Oof, just right at the car. The Jeep didn't stop.
I'd be so fucking mad, dude. Yeah. I'd be so mad.
I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
That's the worst part is like being an adult now. I remember when, you're 16, 18, you get stuck and you're like, oh, what am I going to do? Like now you're just like, God fucking damn it.
Yeah.
You're just the anger just builds.
Like, I have to waste my time dealing with this shit.
Yeah. I got to get out of this fucking car. I got to fucking do shit.
Oh, God.
Like, I used to make fun of people that would call AAA and call tow trucks and shit. Not anymore. I understand. I'm just like, fuck, just come get me, man.
Yeah. You deal with it. Yeah. I'll pay you. I don't care.
I would much rather just pay. And that's a weird thing to finally come to terms with. I don't know if it's... rich boy privilege or what, because I'm not a rich boy, right. But I would much rather just pay someone else.
It's convenience. It's more, I think, convenience than anything else, because it's way more convenient to call somebody else to have them do it.
Because I'm spoiled.
Maybe. Because we have that availability to do it.
I spoiled myself.
There you go. We did, in Alaska, I went to a few different little cities up there. Obviously, Anchorage, Talkeetna, Fairbanks. I stayed a day in Fairbanks.
Did you sled dog?
No.
Out of everything, why didn't you sled dog?
Well, one, I didn't know anybody up there that did it because
It's not a common thing.
I mean, I'm sure it is, but it wasn't like everybody in the city I was living in sled dogging. You know what I mean? And then B, I just never bothered to ask, like, how can I do this? You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure if I asked, they would have been like, oh, we can figure it out.
We can point you in the right direction.
Right. But I never bothered. I think I only saw somebody doing it once.
I feel like I'd be the hipster kid that's like, we got to bring this back, guys.
Yeah.
Get your dogs.
Yeah. Bring it back. Make it a regular form of travel during like the hard winter time. Like, you know, in the middle of what normally would be winter. I mean, yeah, there's people that do sled dogging to get around, a lot of snowmobiling to get around rather than driving vehicles.
I'd fucking wreck shit on a snow.
They don't drive their snowmobiles on the actual street. They drive it off because they're like in Wasilla, there was the main, like big main road. And off the side, there's like like walkways, not like regular sidewalks, but like looks like bike path, like kind of like our bike and like walking path that goes across the park and stuff like that, just on both sides. And that's where people would be riding their snowmobile in the winter. Getting it.
So you went from Alaska. Did you come back here or did you go straight to Brazil?
Not Brazil, but I went straight there. I went to Santiago, Chile.
Oh, you went to Chile. Okay. I'm sorry. I had that mixed up.
Yeah.
So you didn't come home first?
No.
You went straight down there?
Nope. Yeah.
You was like, I'm tired of being a snow bunny. Now I want to be a cabana boy.
Kinda. So to go back, did a lot of traveling around in Alaska. And then the people that I was living with, my buddy's mom, her family is from South America.
Oh, okay.
And his dad is from England. Oh yeah, full on British accent. I loved it. He was a Royal Marine too. So it was great. I enjoyed it. But so they had the plan at that time because they were they were social workers. They had their own practice, everything else, and it was getting at that time where they were trying to look towards hiring other people to basically like kind of just run the place while they just did their own thing. They were looking to kind of in a way retire, I guess. So it was at that point, and they were talking about going out there, like living down in South America around her family and stuff like that. And they were like, "Hey, do you want to go?" They gave me the option. Do I want to come back here or do I want to go to South America with them? At that time, I was like, fuck it.
Sign me up.
Yeah, sign me up. They're like, cool. Just get your passport. We're good. Okay.
So not to go back, but what did you do for work in Alaska? Didn't.
I didn't have to.
You just hung out.
Yep. That was one of the very lucky things about it was they just wanted me to experience what life was like outside of my home city. Because before then, other than the occasional random going to see like my aunts and uncles in New York, I never really left Ohio. And so
where can one find one of these families?
Right. I got lucky. I met them, funny enough, I met them on WoW.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Playing back in the day, playing fucking WoW, World of Warcraft, and met them and became really close friends with them through that game. And they would always talk for a couple of years before I actually made the jump to do it. Because I went up there once before I stayed there for an extended time.
Oh, okay.
But before that, for like a couple years before that, they always were talking about like, hey, you should just come up here. Hey, you should just come up here and stay for a little while, like, you know, just to get out and stuff like that. And I'd always be like, no, because at that time, I think I was like right out of high school. I was like,
So you chose Dan helping out with marching band
originally.
Over going.
That wasn't the leading decision that did it, but, you know, I don't think I really helped. I don't think I really helped marching band that much after I graduated. I think I showed up every so often, but to really help,
that was more Bob.
Yeah, that was more Bob. It was one of those things like I just didn't know like when I mean obviously I know at Friday nights is the game nights, but outside of that, Bob didn't fucking talk. Bob was doing his college thing and would show up down here without telling anybody. But so I made the first leap, and stayed there for a month in the summertime.
Okay.
I think it was like in June, the whole month of June, and came back in July. And then in December of that same year is when I made the full blown, like, I'm just going to go up there.
Right.
And originally at that point in time, my intention was to not come back. Like
I feel like everyone has that intention once they leave.
The city's a
They're
fucking black hole.
I'm never fucking going.
This city's a fucking black hole,
I'm never
my friend.
coming back.
It's
Fuck
not
all
a
you
joke.
people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it wasn't like that, like fuck all y'all people, but it was more just like I have really nothing here. I mean, my parents are here, but other than that, like I was going to college, not doing very well in that. Had a job working at a fast food place. Like I really have nothing here that's really worth.
That's not grounding you here.
Sure, yeah. So I was like, fuck it. I did it once. I could do it again. Why not? I did.
That's something that I really wish that I had. I wish I had that. Fuck it.
I got lucky though because I had people that was like, yeah, do it. And they paid for the plane ticket both times. Every time, actually. They did it. They were like, yeah, let's do it. We'll get you set up. We'll buy the plane ticket. And then 5 minutes later, they messaged me like, here's the plane ticket. This is when you're coming.
Damn.
I'm like, that's what it was for like the big commitment one in December. It was like, I was talking to them, to my buddy's mom about it. And she was like, you know, do you want to do it? And I was sitting there thinking for a while. And then like a couple hours later, I messaged her back and I was like, yeah. I'm like, let's fuck it. Let's do it. And then literally, I kid you not, within minutes, bang, done. Here's your plane ticket. This is when you're leaving. And I was like, oh, this is happening.
She ain't fucking around.
No, this is happening.
That's what I'm talking about.
So yeah, I did that. Got to see a lot of, at least the sort of like southern part of Alaska. All this, went to this weird, I wouldn't say weird, but I guess it more kind of like a hippie-ish style, like forest festival.
Yeah?
Yeah. I forget what city it was out, like right outside of, but it took us like 3-4 hours to get there. And it was in the middle of the woods, a festival in the middle of the woods.
Man, I'm trying to go to one of these so bad. So I want to go. Like, I just want to be around people that are all peace and love.
Like,
you know,
I mean, I wouldn't say, I guess I say that wrong. It wasn't like full blown hippie, like, peace, dude, you know, all this, that, and the other. But it was just weird at first because of the fact it was legitimately in the middle of the woods.
Maybe it was just a pagan festival.
I don't think it was a pagan festival. Like, I mean, it was all like earthy and, you know, like that kind of vibe. Music playing, all kinds of like food and all kinds of people there. I mean, there was a lot of people there just having a good old time.
Sound like a pagan festival.
Maybe it was. Maybe I just didn't realize that's what it was. I don't know. Went to
Alaska be following the old ways.
Probably. Saw North Pole, Alaska. I think Bainbridge is small. You think Knock'em Stiff is small. That place is tiny.
Like the actual North Pole?
I don't think it's like legitimately the North Pole because I think the North Pole is legitimately like in the North Pole. But they call it North Pole, Alaska. Like the one house that's there is all decked out in Christmas shit.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't. It's kitschy. I don't like it.
Tacky to me.
Yeah.
I can't do Christmas stuff either, man, because it's like I have a dislike for Christmas because of it working in retail, just how chaotic it is.
Don't get me wrong. Like, I feel like a hypocrite saying these things because, behind this camera over here, I've got a whole lot of Halloween stuff. Sure. And it just...
Halloween's your thing.
I know. And it's like, I love Halloween.
Yeah.
I love Halloween the way Christmas people love Christmas. So I look at Christmas, I'm like, that's kitschy, that's tacky, I don't like it.
Yep.
They're like, how does it feel, fall slut? I'm like, look here, bud. You leave my fucking pumpkin spice alone.
Bingo. But no, it's like with me, it's like more so now with having kids, I've opened up more to Christmas and stuff because of having kids. Because
now the magic is there.
Yeah, it's a cool thing watching their eyes light up. You know, especially my little daughter, who's still young to believe in.
Oh, you still let her believe in Santa?
Yeah, fuck it, why not? The oldest one, my boy, he's getting to that age where it's gonna.
Is he getting suspicious?
It's gonna come sooner or later.
He's like, yo, this is mad
hopefully they don't listen to this later on. So, anywho, but yeah, it's
if you do,
still real.
He's still real.
But no, it opens you up more because it's just one of those things where if you start doing it, it's kind of hard to stop doing it until they realize what's really going on.
I just want to wreck kids' realities, man.
Mine got ruined early on. I was real young. I can't remember, but I remember it was one Christmas night. I woke up and walked out to the living room, and my mom was there wrapping gifts. My dad was bringing in a bike.
Literally the exact same scenario happened for me. I was like 5, and my grandpa, he was bringing in stuff, and he woke me up. I will go out there, and Grandma and Mom are sitting there wrapping presents, and Grandpa's carrying shit in. Yeah, and he's like, Santa just left. He dropped all this shit off.
Yep. That's exactly what they said to me too.
They said he said his elves didn't have time, so that we had to wrap it.
And from then on, I was just like, yeah, okay.
Like something's up.
Yeah,
it's mad sus.
But
I seen that same box in the fucking garage 2 weeks ago.
But yeah, no, like Christmas overall to me, it got ruined with retail, but then it kind of is warmed up with kids. But yeah, one house that was just all decked out in Christmas stuff. And so whatever, I don't care. Went there, went to a town called Whittier, and it's literally true that my buddy's dad, he said, he would always say there's nothing shittier than Whittier.
Okay.
It's very true. Very true. Because
what's wrong with Whittier?
I mean, there's nothing really wrong with it. It's a like a fishing town because you have to go through a mountain to get to it.
Okay.
And then once you get to it,
when you say through a mountain, are you talking like driving through the mountain? Or are you
kind of like how
a tunnel through the mountain?
Like a tunnel through the mountain.
Like just like when you're going to going to the
very
Carolinas.
Similar. Yeah, very very similar.
Man, that always is.
Oof. Yeah. And right as you leave the tunnel from the mountain, boom, you're in this little town, and it's like most of the town is just like a harbor, fishing harbor. There's fucking boats everywhere, all this, that, and the other, and apparently, and up there they have. I think it used to either be a hotel. I think it was a hotel at one point. They converted it into a big housing complex. That's where all the residents in Whittier live, is in this big building. They don't have individual houses like in this town like we do.
Zion?
Yeah, it's just one big bam house, and then the rest of it is just fishing stuff.
The amount of fucking drama that town must have.
Right.
Talking, fucking third floor Susie, that fucking bitch.
Yeah. I couldn't do it. Hell no. I think Whittier was where we took a ferry. I got to do a ferry trip. Saw a whale.
You got to see a whale?
Oh yeah.
What kind of whale?
I don't know. It wasn't that close where I could identify like, oh, that's a humpback. It wasn't like a killer whale. It wasn't black and white or anything like that.
But I love killer whales.
I saw
They're
seals.
Fucking pricks though.
I saw some seals chilling on some ice. Going to do this ferry.
Did you do the Midwestern thing at all for any of these interactions? Like, I need to know.
No, I didn't.
You betrayed us all.
I was just taking it all in, dude.
You forgot your Midwestern training.
Taking it.
Hey, there's seals. Hey, seals.
Just taking it all in, like, oh fuck, this shit's real.
Something Blake. Whenever we're going to anytime we're going to Columbus or anything like that. me and Liza both will just be like, oh, cows. And he's like, you guys are fucking stupid.
You know what? I do the same thing.
I fucking love cows, bro.
Like, look, there's some fucking cows on the hill. I always used to joke with people talking about cows that are standing on a hill aren't actually cows.
Oh, because of the old wives' tale that they can't stand on the side of a hill?
Yes. I would always tell people they're just really big sheep. But yeah,
all depends on the syllable you scream. Moo and meh.
Pretty much. Not too far off. No. Been there, experienced that, and then they told me I needed to they wanted to know if I wanted to go to South America with them. I just needed to get a passport, which that was an ordeal to do. It turns out, if you're living halfway across if you're living on the complete opposite side of the country, and you try and get a passport and all your information is on the other side, a little difficult.
Yeah,
it wasn't real bad, but
you're not JB.
Yeah,
I'm right here.
I went,
no, you're not.
Got the picture taken.
You live in
for
Ohio.
The passport. Got the original application for it, filled out my info, and then we get this big, thick, chunky letter in the mail. I had to fill out all kinds of documentation about myself.
How the fuck did you get here?
Yeah, well,
where the fuck did you come from?
Yeah, I think it was due to the fact that my driver's license was still an Ohio driver's license is what really did it.
I probably would have thrown some people off.
Yeah. And then they wanted me to fill out all kinds of information about my parents and stuff like that. But I got it. Got the passport nonetheless. And off I went. Off I went to South America. That was fun. That plane ride was long and boring. All plane ride. I'll be real. All plane rides are long and boring. I don't have fun on plane rides at all.
No.
They're cool.
I sleep on them.
I can't.
Every time I'll be like,
I can't for whatever. Like, even like going down there, it was like, because we left Alaska, we went to Seattle, stayed there a night, and then had a 8-hour layover in Seattle to get on the plane to go to.
The fucking worst.
It was so boring sitting in that fucking airport.
See, I got really lucky. Like when I went to Tennessee, the Atlanta layover was only an hour.
Yeah.
But that terminal is so fucking big.
That whole hour you're walking.
Yeah, I had to take a train.
Yeah.
From one terminal to my next terminal. That was wild to me. They're like, we're the biggest in the world. I was like, well, you can fucking keep it.
Yeah, you can keep it. I don't want none of this shit. So then we get on that plane. I think it was like a 15, 16-hour flight. Huge plane, though.
How many times did you have to stop?
From Seattle to Santiago, none. It was a straight flight.
So you went from Alaska to Seattle and then from Seattle straight to Chile.
Yes. It was a big. It was a big ass plane. It was one of those planes where it was like the 3 sections. Like you had the one set of seats, the middle row, and then the other side seats.
In the first class.
No, it didn't do first class. The whole thing, even economy coach, it was like that because it was such a big international flight.
Oh, okay.
Had all the screens on the back of the TVs and everything.
Packing people.
Oh yeah, it was comfy, but couldn't sleep during that either. I don't know what it is. I just cannot sleep on a plane.
I can sleep anywhere, anytime.
I'm a horrible sleeper.
If I lay my head on this desk for long enough, it's happening.
Not me. But get down to Santiago, Chile.
I will say this though, even though I can sleep on those planes, as soon as the fucking pressure changes, if I feel the descent, I'm awake. I'm awake right now. What's going on? Why are we dying?
Feeling the plane like drop down because you're like, what?
we had the engines cut out once, and that was a weird experience because I was sitting across from this girl, and both of us was just like this dead eye contact. Like, I don't think that's supposed to happen. She's like, I've never had that happen before. Oh my god! And I'm like, we're cool.
I've experienced turbulence, which that's fun.
Yeah. Turbulence. I'm just like, air pocket. Air pocket. No, this was the engines cut the fuck out.
God damn.
I was like, I really hope. Because usually they do. They cut them out when you're coming in for the descent. Sure. This was like in the middle of the sky.
Must have just had a air war.
Like, I am not doing this.
Or they accidentally hit a button wrong. Whoops. Oh shit. Wrong button.
Put it in reverse, Terry.
Trying to put the autopilot on, accidentally hit the off switch.
Yeah. So you get down to Santiago. Sorry, go ahead.
No,
I didn't mean to interrupt you.
You're good. Get down there. I should have taken the mom's advice and learned Spanish. I really should have, because I had the opportunity to when I was living in Alaska. Because they were talking about this for months before they decided to actually do it. Should have took that advice, because there is zero English down there. Zero.
Did you pick any Spanish up?
A little bit. I enough to be able to get in a taxi and go home, and enough to order food, which was okay. Yeah,
that's all you need.
Yeah, that's all I needed.
Someone stop you on the street, ask you questions and shit, you just be like,
nah.
Food?
Yeah, nah.
Like, nah.
But get there, go through their customs, get my passport stamped, easy as can be. Enjoying time down there. It was great. I loved it. It was a lot of fun. Fortunately for me and my friend, his mom's family, one of their, I think it was my buddy's uncle. Yeah, it was technically my buddy's uncle. He was pretty well educated. He knew English. So a lot of the times when me and my buddy would just go out and peruse the town, he would come with us, translator, and just having a good time.
See, like, luckily now you can just do that with your phone.
Yeah.
Just Google, just be like, boop, what's this motherfucker saying?
Yeah, didn't have that kind of availability. That would have been nice, but found out actually while we were living down there. Most of the time they were more embarrassed to talk to us than the other way around. Because the way I thought of it was, when I found this out, I found that hard to believe because of the fact that I'm in their home and I don't know their language.
I don't think the rest of the world has the arrogance that the United States has.
Probably not.
Now, the French do. French be like, stupid fucking American.
Probably.
Like, they...
But
that's not to say that all French people are mean. It's just if you catch one on a bad day, and they're just like, I'm not fucking with you today, bro.
Yeah. But I mean, I imagine it as, kind of like, I wouldn't say it's as bad as here. Like, you're in America, you need to speak American, God damn it. That kind of ordeal. But me going down there trying to do my normal thing and not understanding what they were saying back to me, really, I felt more embarrassed. But apparently it was actually the other way around. They were like, they figured,
because they wanted you to understand.
Yeah, they figure the way that they kind of looked at it was they should be the ones that know English. Excuse me. But
I mean, maybe they're better hosts than us.
Maybe. I'll tell you what, the fast food there is way better than here. Like McDonald's down there.
I feel like the food just about any other country is going to be better than here.
So much better. Getting a fucking Big Mac from down there is so much better than it does up here.
What about the Coke?
Yeah, I think the Coke was better. I mean, that's all they had was Coke products. Not a single really.
That's something. That's something that's weird for me when I hear about the rest of the world. Is like France is a lot the same way. They have, they don't have as many selections as we do.
Yeah.
So my friend, her boyfriend, when he came to America with her, he was fucking hype over Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like,
back then,
he wanted to try all the different flavors of Mountain Dew and this and that. He's just...
Back then, I was still really, really big into drinking Mountain Dew, and it sucked so bad. Like that was the one. That was probably one of my biggest complaints down there was that it didn't exist down there. It was Coke. If I want to pop, it was Coke.
Now that I'm a little older, I find myself more drawn to the colas. Like I don't really care for Pepsi, but I'll drink Pepsi.
Sure.
I like Coke. I've burnt the Mountain Dew out of my soul.
Yep.
I've just drank way too much of it.
Yep. But no, living down there and we trying to find an actual place to live there, so we stayed in a few different hotel areas for extended times before we actually got an actual apartment there. It was dope. It was pretty much the same kind of thing happened every day. We would get up, we'd go wander around the city, go find a mall, hang out there most of the day, then come home, rinse, repeat, almost every single day.
So you guys didn't work down there either?
Nope. I was only
Man.
down there for a few months. It wasn't very long.
Oh, just a few months. Just a few months.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, obviously you could go down. I mean, the plan was originally, because the plan was originally at the time, like, oh, I guess now I'm living in South America now. Like, this is it.
You just really go with the flow, bud.
Yeah. Like, I guess I'm legitimately living in South America now. Like, we ain't going back to the States. Like, this is my new home now.
Did you find some cuties down there?
I mean, yeah, there was attractive women down there. I didn't try and like
how did that language barrier, how did that hit?
It's impossible.
Huh?
It's fucking impossible, dude. It's
so?
Straight. Oh yeah.
You can't do the hand signals, you know?
I probably could have. I mean, yeah, I probably could have, but I wasn't really at the time interested in trying to find a honey to like hit up on.
Right.
And B, it was I think the language was the biggest thing. Because with me, I'm not about trying to do like hand signals and play guessing games with people.
This motherfucker out here in the street doing charades?
Yeah. I'm not about I ain't about it.
What the fuck is he doing with this sausage?
Yeah. I ain't about doing no guessing games with them. I would just I can't understand you. Maybe later on when I learn the language more, then we'll go for it. But yeah.
My love,
right.
I have learned the Spanish for you.
Santiago was nuts though. The best way I describe it to people was it was like bigger than like a really big city. Like obviously one of the biggest cities I've been to was Columbus. So I was like, imagine like Columbus, but like double, maybe even triple the size, with all the car traffic and commotion that you see going on, where people are driving nonstop. It's like nut to butt cars and everything. But also imagine taking like Tokyo with all the people that you see walking around there and slap that in the middle of it as well.
Big and that many people?
Yeah. Yeah, there were so many people. So many people that lived there.
Yeah, I went to New York once. It was when my aunts got married. This was back before it was federally legal. So we had to move states because people were jackasses. Right. Well, we didn't have to move. We just had to go to a different state for them to get married because people were fucking assholes. So we get there and I'm looking around and it is not like as packed as I expected it to be.
Yeah.
Because you see in the movies, all these movies, it's just nut to butt on the street all the fucking time. And also everybody told us, they're like, you be careful. People in New York are fucking dicks. We didn't experience a single bad interaction.
No.
People wanted to help, especially because like we're a bunch of little Midwesterners in the Big Apple. People would stop us because they knew we were lost. They would look and be like, "Hey, you're not from here. Let me show you. Where are you going? Tell me where you're going. I will get you there. You've been here for 45 minutes, and I want you off my corner."
Yeah. At the same time, I've also heard that people that live in the New England area, whenever they come to the Midwest, we're a lot nicer.
Yeah.
I've heard that because when I was working for Verizon, my trainer when I did my training, it was in Rhode Island. And my trainer at the time, she eventually got promoted and did this thing with a bunch of different training for a bunch of different states. And she got moved over to the Midwest. So she came out towards this area and she was talking all the time about how much nicer everybody was here. I'm like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Like, we cuss every dang second at people. Whenever we give the chance, we're like, fuck you, get out of the way. You know? But, you know.
So I remember we had I'm noticing, because I've got friends in the South now that are from the North. Mm-hmm. And it's really interesting to hear them talk about the South because they're like, people down here are fucking assholes. And it's like, you've always heard about Southern hospitality. I'm like, what in the fuck is going on down there? They're like, no, you don't understand. Like, these people are fucking dicks.
Yeah, you ever heard that Ludacris song, Southern Hospitality? Catching them bows?
I didn't pay attention, apparently.
No, but yeah, so it's this big and a lot of people there. So it was a lot of commotion
Oh, yeah, it's
on.
probably loud.
Yeah, it was. I mean, obviously, it was a lot busier the closer you got to like the city center of like of the city and stuff. There was obviously a lot more things going on up there, or down there, I should say. Police was great because they're walking around in full fucking combat gear with assault rifles
All the time?
all the time. All the
So
time.
ain't nobody fucking around.
Nope. Their vehicles were all armored the fuck up. Everything. And what I found out was because there was a lot it doesn't take much down there to spark a riot.
What?
Yeah.
You just
And
like,
I
hey,
saw one.
hey, fuck that guy. And just everybody's like, yeah,
Apparently.
fuck that piece of
Well,
shit.
I don't know about that, but you know, they're prepared is what I'm saying.
Oh, they're down.
They're prepared.
They're down for it.
And I saw one. Greatest thing in the world.
Like, was your apartment like up? Like
At that time, when I saw it, yes, where we were staying, it was way up. So at that time, that week prior to it actually happening, they were having a soccer like tournament, football tournament going on, and down in most other places, as a lot of people know now, it's taken way more seriously than it is here in America. And apparently at that time, the local, like, I just lost my word there. The local team made it to some kind of big championship.
Oh, yeah.
So the whole week prior, there was all kinds of people celebrating, like getting ready for this thing. Like people were in the big, like, transport buses, hanging out the windows with their flags, having a good old time. And I'm like, you know, this is pretty cool. Like they're all like
fucking
partying it up essentially. So it happens. And where we were at, we can see the stadium where it was at. Now it was probably, I would probably say like 5-10 miles away. I mean, we could see the stadium, but we couldn't like see what was going on. We could just see the stadium. And you could hear them. You could hear the crowd whenever something would happen and they just go ape shit and lose their mind.
Yeah.
Well, apparently the team won. You hear them go nuts over there. Like, just all that stuff. And we're like, okay, cool. They won. And you could see a little while later, from where we were at, you could see all the cars leaving and the highway just started getting a hell of a lot busier. We're just chilling. It was me and my buddy. We're just chilling out on the balcony. And slowly, it was pretty cool because we were like, what the hell is going on? Every so often we would see a car whiz by, honking their horn, going nuts bananas over the fact that this happened. Mm-hmm. And we're like, cool, I guess the game's over. Things are going on. And it slowly started getting worse where there was people just going ape shit over this victory. Like I'm talking people flooring it, weaving back and forth in reverse, honking their horns, people running through the streets. Like it got to the point where there was a group of people at like a street light, like shaking the fucking street light. And like, dude, they were going nuts. They had some of their transport buses were like two buses with that weird little thing in the middle. You have one bus and another part of the bus, and it has that weird, like, bumpy, like, groovy thing in the middle of it. They have those down there. I don't know exactly what it's called, but they have those down there. There was people on top of those buses waving flags, and the bus was just going down the roads.
Got places to fucking be.
Apparently.
Okay.
Like,
you want to celebrate your team, that's cool, but I have a job to do.
It got so rowdy that they had the police come out, and I watched this dude get blasted by one of those like riot hoses, like like water hoses. Went down.
Oh yeah, you don't stay up.
Dude,
with
it was
this.
great.
You don't stay up with this.
It wasn't an angry riot. It was a happy riot, but it was a riot nonetheless. It was
kind of reminds me of like the Super Bowl victories that happen here.
Yeah, very similar.
When they just get out of fucking hand, they start like burning cars and
very
shit.
Similar. They didn't burn cars, but they were trying to fuck up shit. That's for sure. They were like like I said, they were shaking like traffic signs and all this, that, and the other. And I'm just like, oh my God, I never seen something like that, like in person. And then I see it in person, and I'm like, okay. And apparently there was another one for New Year's. Like, they got so excited over New Year's over the fireworks, apparently. I didn't see that one. I tell you, the fireworks show was a hell of a lot better than what we have here.
Really?
Oh, yeah. It lasted for easily like 20, 30 minutes. It felt like it was non-stop because we didn't go actually see it in person, but we were watching it on TV. And it was just midnight hit, fireworks going off, like looking out. We could hear them and we could see some of them from where we were at. Look over at the TV, it's like 12:15. They're still going. 12:20, they're still going. I'm like, how fucking long is this? Apparently they got all super duper excited down there as well and started fucking shit up down there too. I'm like, okay, these people like party hard.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Gated houses.
What do you mean by gated houses?
So the way that Santiago is, it's nestled like right alongside the mountains that are down there. I can't remember what the mountains are called. So there obviously there's houses and neighborhoods and stuff that are going up into the mountain, starting to go up into the mountain range.
Okay.
And when you go up there, the houses are a lot more old school, and so they've got concrete barriers around each house and like steel bars and stuff like that. Apparently, if I remember correctly, it was back when, like, I think it was, I could get this wrong, but it was back when like the Spanish were coming in and stuff like that. It was to keep people from basically getting into their homes, people that would invade, like down in that area.
I think we actually have some of the remnants of that, like, architecture style here in Chillicothe.
Probably.
Because if you, right there at the end of Western, before it actually turns into water, there's those houses up on the hill.
Mm-hmm.
They have the concrete barrier with, now granted, the iron gates are a little different.
Yeah.
You know, they're rounded. They're more for show. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what I was wondering if that's what you were talking about.
Yeah, something similar. Yeah, no, they were definitely there. Some of their family lived in one of those houses. It was very interesting seeing a whole different culture.
Yeah, because not even like, so I think that when people talk about different cultures, they're just like, oh, well, they're just different than us. You actually got to experience an entirely different thing because there wasn't even a language similarity there.
Nope.
So, because it's like, you know, if I was to go to Wisconsin.
Yeah.
A lot of people say Wisconsin is kind of like the Midwest of the West.
Yeah.
Like they say we're similar people-wise. But we'll take it a step further. If I was to go to Vegas, Vegas obviously has a very different culture than all of Ohio.
Yeah.
So, at least there's a... I can come to an understanding with someone there.
Yeah, you could still hold a conversation with them. And
we could get to know each other.
Exactly.
We could actually connect on some kind of level.
Exactly.
Down there, you're just like...
Dude, I can't tell you how many family get-togethers that I went to down there. And I'm literally the odd man out. Because they're all like talking and having a good time. And yeah, they would try and talk to me and I would understand as much as I could. I would get, when they would directly talk to me, I would get the gist of what they were talking about because it was kind of like a charades, like playing this damn guessing game and stuff like that. But I would get the gist of what they were talking about.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But for the most part, I'm just sitting there.
Yep.
As they're just carrying on, laughing, having a good old time, all this, that, and the other. And I mean, it was fun. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't awkward. I didn't feel awkward or anything. But
now, did you experience any prejudice down there when like they're like, oh, fuck that white guy?
Nope.
Nobody.
Nope. Not a single time. I didn't feel anybody like having any kind of like hatred or experience anything where they were like intentionally rude to me. Anybody I interacted with was generally pretty nice. And like I said, most of the time they felt more embarrassed that they couldn't talk to me than me talking to them.
Give me just a second.
Yeah.
And we are back. Sorry about that. My dog started going wild.
Bork, bork.
Bork, bork. So we were talking about how you would go to family gatherings and how you said everyone that you met down there was so nice. Nobody had any kind of prejudice.
Yep.
Things like that. So, how was the food different? Talk about that for a minute.
Food was great. Most of the time, like, I mean, I can't remember like specifics, like super duper specifics, but I mean, it was good. It was really good. It wasn't like everything was like spicy or, anything like that.
Now, when you say spicy, are you saying spicy as in it has a lot of spice or hot?
Hot.
Okay.
So no, it wasn't like stuff was like extremely hot to the burn your mouth and like you're licking the sun or anything. Yeah. But I mean, it was good. One of my favorite things, and I can't remember what it's called, but it literally was big ass like pile of fries, cheese, like steak, like tip, like bits, all over it, and eggs on top.
So dumpster fries.
In a way, I guess. I mean, they call it something else down there, and I just can't for the life of me remember what it's called. But it was literally like one of my favorite things down there.
Sounds like they called it good.
Oh yeah, no, it was great. It was fantastic.
Like that's what I'm trying to have. Like fuck.
It was so good.
Like I haven't dug up the potatoes out of the garden yet. It might be time.
Probably. But no, most of the time, outside of those things, we would cook stuff back at our apartment. It would be like generic, what I consider like generic things. Like sometimes we would have like steak or a lot of chorizo. I love chorizo. I love chorizo. But outside of that, most of the time I would just eat like something like fast foody. Like whenever when we found an actual like apartment that we were living in and wasn't hopping around, it was literally how it was before. We would wake up, we'd go to, but this time we would just go to one specific mall because it was a gigantic mall that also had like a gigantic grocery store attached to it. We'd walk all the way there, go hang out there for the day, get food there, and then come home and then have dinner and then rinse and repeat.
Now, do you think like everything was different in the sense of do they have a different style down there?
Yeah. I mean, well, I guess like food wise, if you're getting like not fast food or anything like that, yeah, it is different.
Oh no, I meant clothes.
Oh, clothes. No, not really. I mean, obviously it's a lot warmer down there, so most of them are in shorts all the time. But I mean, clothing wise, it really didn't seem that different than how it is up here. I mean, they had all the fancy like name brand clothing departments down there. They had their own like clothing, like name brand clothing departments and stuff like that.
I always find it funny, like when from an American perspective, like somebody who's never been out of Ohio, or well, I've been out of Ohio, but 98% of my life has been here.
Sure.
I just mean someone who doesn't leave Ohio very often. You know, you hear about places like Chile and Brazil and Peru and all these, and you think that it's just going to be so much different.
I think it would be, except for the fact that where I was at in Santiago, it's a very civilized city. Like
very
a lot of industry, a lot of really big buildings, a lot of rich fancy cars.
So they caught up to the first world.
Like that. Yeah, in a way. And from my understanding is that Chileans are actually very educated.
Cool.
They're out of South America, they're one of the more educated groups of people, from my understanding at least. Well, at least that's what I was told. And it kind of spoke true. I mean, my buddy's uncle, he was very, very smart, very well educated, spoke both his language and English fluently.
Did he only live in Chile?
I don't know if he lived anywhere else, like stayed abroad or anything. I know he travels a lot to different places.
Because I was going to ask if you did like any kind of culture exchange with him. Like, did you make him a good old fashioned Midwestern fucking hamburger?
No.
You know, you make him some sloppy Joe with some cheese on it.
No, I didn't.
You know, shit like that.
No, I didn't. Honestly, I didn't even think of that.
Oh, that'd be the first thing. Because so this might be part of like the whole toxic masculinity culture, but I think it's actually more American than it is masculinity. the pride that comes with, hey, why don't you try some of our shitty shit?
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. Be American.
This hamburger is going to clog your arteries, boy.
But God damn it, it's got freedom laced all inside of it, motherfucker. So let me tell you what.
Yeah, you're right.
You're going to enjoy it, or you're going to go hell.
Yeah.
Because this is the American way.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
God. No, I
feel like I would like to think that I wouldn't do that. I would be more interested in learning their culture.
Yeah.
But I know. I'll just be like, this motherfucker needs a corn dog.
I'm sure. I'm sure if I would have stayed there longer and got way more comfortable, I would not to say that I was uncomfortable living there, but if I would have got way more comfortable with it, then that might have happened. Like, let me show you some of my experience. Like
if you could make them a dish, what would you have made them? Like your favorite?
Back at that time, I really couldn't cook very well, so it probably would have been something like mac and cheese.
Well, they know a mac and cheese.
Yeah, or like a hamburger, but they have those down there too.
Well,
you know what I mean?
I'm talking like some cultural shit, JB, like some beanie weenies.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe like, I could have done that.
Yeah. Listen, that's my dish. If I ever go anywhere in the world, like I've got some people that want me to go to France, and I've got some people want me to go to Ireland, things like that.
You're talking about Appalachian food.
Yes.
Yeah, because
I'm gonna roll up in fucking Dublin, Ireland, and be like, let me change your fucking life
with these goddamn
bring me that
weenies.
Sausage, bring me them beans.
Goddamn beanie weenies. No, but yeah, I'm sure that probably would have happened if I would have stayed there even longer. But most of the time, I felt like an outsider. Just, I'm here. I'm in your
road,
I'm in your territory.
I have ever known.
I'm in your territory. I'm on your home turf. Like, I'm not here to try and force my way down your throat.
Right.
Because there's way more of you than there is lonely old me.
Well, that's something like I don't think that you're a typical American when it comes to that, because most Americans will go to other places and expect other people to speak English or expect them to adhere to their culture. And it's like, that's not the way it goes.
A
lot of people have that issue in Italy. They'll go to Italy and be like, oh, you speak English? And they're like, get the fuck out of my restaurant.
I realized that the second that pretty much the second I got off the airplane at the airport, because I got off the airplane at the airport and walked down these escalators to where the customs people were for the passports. And that's when it really dawned on me, because that's when it was just there. I'm not even the signs in the airport, no English, nothing.
Oh, that would fuck me up.
Yeah, nothing. And that's when, I guess that's when it really kicked in. Like,
you're not in Kansas anymore.
No, yeah, like I'm in a foreign territory.
Yeah.
Completely. And yeah, it was interesting.
See, I feel like I would be okay if it was Spanish or French or really any country that still used like English characters.
They use a dialect of Spanish, or it might even be Portuguese.
So yeah, they're English characters, right? Okay, so I'd be okay. It's the moment that I see Russian symbols or, an Asian language symbol. Sure. And I'm like, fuck me. Like, I'm out.
Oh boy.
Or Arabic.
Yeah.
The way they use the apostrophes and things in random places, I'm like, this is, nope.
Yeah, it's like...
I'd almost rather see clicks.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Like, I can do that.
It would be real interesting to really hear that in person.
Oh, click language?
Yeah, like that kind of language. Like, I mean, yeah, you could go on YouTube and find it probably, but to actually hear that in person, I think that would be just like mind blowing.
I think it's always going to be different in person because you can feel the concussions of someone's actual language. Like you can feel it, not in your chest, but you can, you get what I'm saying. You can feel those sound waves. One language that I really want to experience in person is Bayou French.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know that there's a whole little culture down in Louisiana.
Yeah.
The entire community only speaks French. So that did you watch The Office?
Yeah, I did watch The Office. I didn't watch every single episode. I didn't rat every single episode out like a lot of people do, but I mean, I have seen The Office, yeah.
Don't call me out.
Just saying. My wife's the same way.
There was a there was one episode where they had to play this game, like the Who Did It Murderer Mystery game.
Yeah.
Well, in that, they were making fun of certain people's accents because they're like, no, you got that Florida Panhandle thing going on. What you really want is more like just, it rolls off the tongue. Just the different Southern accents that are happening. Bayou French is interesting in that way because it keeps that slow, rolls off the tongue kind of, aristocratic Southern accent.
Is it aristocratic though?
Yes.
Okay.
So, but whereas, actual French people, they're very fast, very
right. Right.
These guys keep their speed, they keep their leisure in the language.
It's almost just like Southern French.
Yeah.
Kind of like how, people down in the South, they talk, it's not like super duper fast and everything else. They typically talk a little bit slower and they have that specific Southern dialect.
And that's something I love too, just in America.
Southern
like,
Belle.
you go to Florida Panhandle, they sound like us, but they talk slower.
Right.
Whereas you move over to like Georgia and Alabama, their accents are a lot thicker, but they don't speak as fast as us. And then you come up to, West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio area, we all kind of blend in.
We have our own language. It's Appalachian language.
Yeah. But then you go up north even farther, like New York.
Mothman language.
New York, super fast.
Yeah.
All of them. Every time I heard somebody speak on, it was like, rapid fire. And I've always loved meeting people from the north that come down here and they're like, wow, y'all speak so slow.
Right.
It's like,
it was like,
honey, this is medium setting.
It was interesting because when I speaking of like the accents stuff I got when I was living in Alaska, I mean, Alaskans, they don't have like their accent to me just sounded pretty much the same as us did. I mean, it wasn't like Southern or anything like that or like New England. That harsh of a...
Are you saying that Alaska's got that Appalachian?
I wouldn't say Appalachian, no. But it was so interesting because to me, I never... It was never that distinct enough to really point it out. But I had people all the time like, hey, where are you from? And I'm like, Ohio. And they're like, oh, we could tell. And I'm like, how? And they're like, your accent. I'm like, what are you talking about?
I think also, I think there's a reason for that. I think our little region... that we all speak the same way, but we've all got so many different dialects and little different inflections that we are used to hearing different things, so we don't notice it. Well, but you get outside of our region, and immediately like, this dude's from Fuckville.
That dude's over there in the Rust Belt.
I'm being serious.
You're probably right, but I mean, it was just. Like I said, up there, the people that talked, when listening to them talk up there, it wasn't like oh yeah, that's a New Englander because they have that New England like Boston.
And the Boston.
That Boston accent, the khakis,
We did. I had a guy, he came from there and he was working with me at Sugar Creek Packing. And it was my goal every day to piss this man off just so I could hear him roll. Just so I could get him rolling. Because he sounded just like Bill Burr.
Oh, really?
Oh, it was so good.
I would have loved it. Yeah. Bill Burr's great.
But yeah, so I mean, I can understand why they would say, hey, you've got an accent, but you wouldn't. Because I really do think, just look at the dialect change from here to Vinton County.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true.
Like, just that small, like, it's 2 counties away. And it is a whole different world down there.
They sound hilljack down there.
So, I mean, I can understand why, like, all of us, we're just kind of used to the different dialects and different inflections. But outside of us, they're just like, he's the one.
You're different. Mm-hmm. And I know.
So coming back from America, was it like, or coming back from America to America, was it kind of like a culture shock to redo, or was it just like a slip right back in?
It was a slip right back in. I mean, I came back and... went from Santiago, my plane went from Santiago, Chile to Panama, like actual Panama, not like Panama City.
Okay.
Or that's in like Florida or around the Florida area or whatever it is. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Actual legitimate Panama, which that was interesting because I've never felt humidity like I have down there.
Humidity is the devil.
Yeah. So like I get there and I had like maybe 45-minute like layover, and the airport wasn't gigantic, so I mean I was able to hang out for a little bit while I was there waiting. I go step outside, and it's like 5 a.m. in the morning, and the thickness of the humidity hit me the second I walked out, and I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ!
Into the thick of it.
Yeah, and like sweat already, and I'm like.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
just
dog.
trying
It's a
to-
big no for me. Anywhere that I'm sweating at 5 a.m. is
Yeah.
a big no for me.
Yeah, it was so weird. And then from there, Panama to New Jersey, and then New Jersey to Columbus. Going to New Jersey, the very first thing I did once I got in and got through everything and was in the airport, first thing I did was got a Mountain Dew.
I fucking knew it. I
A
knew
Mountain
you were going to
Dew,
say that shit.
A Mountain Dew and a slice of pizza. That was the first thing I did.
Why pizza?
I didn't have pizza down there.
Why didn't you show them how to make it?
Never thought about it. Like I said,
You could have been the bringer.
well, I mean, back at that time, I really didn't cook at all.
I mean, that's fair.
Cook anything.
But you had Google.
Yeah. But don't get me wrong, I had pizza down there. Like they have Pizza Hut down there, and I would have Pizza Hut there, and it was good. But I just wanted that. I just wanted that, that nasty American pizza.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that was one of the first things I did was got a Mountain Dew and a pizza, slice of pizza, and it was like
Chef's kiss.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Enjoy. Almost thought I wasn't gonna get back in America.
Yeah?
But yeah.
How did that
Get
go
in.
down?
So I get into New
Are
Jersey.
you a terrorist?
I'm not. I get into New Jersey and I go through the customs area and get up to this to the area where they stamp your passport. It was, I can't remember what time it was. I want to assume it was somewhat later in the evening. So there was only one person there because it really wasn't that busy. I walk up, there's an elderly couple in front of me. And they're having a good old time talking to this lady back and forth. All this out there, ha ha ha, smiles, the whole 9 yards. She stamps their passports, tells them welcome back, have a wonderful day, blah. I walk up there and she's literally going from laughing and smiling to just straight stone face, like in a heartbeat.
Let me ask you. This is going to sound horrible,
Yeah.
but was that elderly couple tan?
No, they
For
white.
you?
No, I mean I had a little bit of a tan because I did a lot of outside time down there, like walking. We would walk and stuff like to a lot of places. I mean, yes, I did have a tan, but I mean, I was still, as far as I could tell, I was still white. I was still American. I wasn't wearing anything different than I think at that time I was wearing some jeans and like a hoodie.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But stoic face, just staring at me, and then just starts asking all kinds of questions. And so I'm like, okay, at first she was like, where did you come from? And I'm like, I told her South America. I was staying
Ohio.
Right. I told her I was staying in Chile. And then she's like, oh, how long were you down there for? And I was like, about 3-4 months or so. And she's like, okay. She's like, who are you staying with? And I'm like, oh, friends of my family. They're some of their family lives down there. So we were staying there. They're like, oh, well, where were you at before you went down there? Like, oh, I was living in Alaska. How long were you there? For about a year. What were you doing? Nothing. I was staying with my friends of the family up there as well. Same ones. And I didn't really have to do anything. I was just hanging out. Oh, what do you plan on doing when you come? Now that you're trying to, you're coming back, what do you plan on doing? I'm like, well, go home, get a job, probably go back to school. What are you going to do school for? Not even joking. I was like, oh, I don't know. And I just ran some computer thing. Like, oh, okay. She's like, who are you going to stay with? Like, well, probably my parents. I don't really have anywhere else to go now. Okay. And I just started going on, like interrogating me almost, except it was just right there. And the whole time I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, listen, bitch, just please just stamp my passport. Let me go. I've got a flight to catch in like an hour. I don't have time.
She was trying to decide, bro. She was trying to decide whether or not you were worth it.
Yeah. I'm like, please don't deny me and ship me back. I was like, I'm done. She's
just boop, return to sender.
Yeah. That's what I imagine. That's what they would do. If they don't accept you back, you're going back.
Do they pay for your flight if they send you back?
I don't know. I don't even know if that's true. That's just what I assumed. Is that if they don't let you in, you can't. Sorry,
Don't care where you go. You can't stay here.
You can't stay here. Out you go. But no,
I will camp this fucking airport until you stamp this passport.
She eventually stamped it. Welcome back. I'm like, oh, thank God. Did that. Got the Mountain Dew. Got the pizza. Hung out for a little bit.
What if you read the whole situation wrong? She was just trying to find a traveler sugar daddy.
Maybe.
Just like, let me come
I wasn't
with you.
about it, though. I was tired because that plane ride from Panama to New Jersey was a 13-hour plane ride. Couldn't sleep, obviously, because I told, like I said,
13 hours?
13 hour. Just sitting there. The only thing that saved me from like literally dying of boredom was the TV like monitor screens they had on the back of the plane seats. They had DirecTV on them, and you could pay for so long. Like it was like, I think it was like $5 for like a couple hours, or you paid like $25-$30, I think it was, for the whole flight.
Dude, that's one of the biggest fucking gyps, because they're like, turn your fucking cell phones off. Like you.
Well, those planes had in-flight Wi-Fi.
Yeah, but you had to pay for it.
Yeah,
that's the thing. That's so like when I went to Tennessee, Delta offered that. They were like, oh well, you can pay this much to get the Wi-Fi, but you got to go through like 6 pages of bullshit.
Yep.
Just to get it, and I'm like, I'm not
worth it.
I'm not doing it.
Not worth it. I watched all kinds of movies on my flight there, which was great. It kept me occupied, but I wish I could have fallen asleep. But for some reason, I just can't on planes. I don't know what it is. Can't do it. I tried.
So my only issue, like, so when I used to ride to work all the time with my buddy Rodney, when I worked at Show Aluminum.
Yep.
Going up 207, same route every night, I'd fall asleep.
Yep.
Well, in the wintertime, it was just me and him one day. He's going, and he just loses complete control of the vehicle, and starts spinning. He's like, oh, fuck! I wake up in time to watch the car spinning completely around, get back on, and I was out. He's like, what the fuck was that, Cody? You woke up just for the crash and then went back to sleep. And I was like, listen, dog, you ain't going to fucking catch me dying in my sleep.
How long ago was that?
2-3 years ago.
Never mind. Only reason why I asked is because it's a very similar situation from what I saw. Like, but this was years ago. This was back when like I was still hanging out with like Larry and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We were driving. He was driving, and we were coming. I think we were coming from like Hillsboro, so it wasn't 270. It was that 550, I think is what it is, or just might even be 50.
Did I say 270?
Yeah,
I meant 207.
Or you said 207. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But anyhow, we were heading back home, and it was snowing real bad. Like couldn't see the street and everything else, and there was a car behind us, like a good way back. And literally all we saw was after a while was headlight, taillight, headlight, taillight, headlight, taillight. Like they spun out. And we were just like.
He was so mad though, because he's like, how the fuck did you go back to sleep that fast? I said, you had it. We good.
We good, dog. We good. Yeah, no, get back. The plane from New Jersey to Ohio was a tiny ass plane.
Like 6 people?
I mean, it probably, I would say, it was a 2-seater instead of a 3-seater, but it was only like maybe 5 or 6 of those.
Yeah.
So it can handle like a dozen people.
Gotcha.
But it was a drastically different plane ride experience.
Oh, it's probably rough as fuck.
Oh yeah. Like the engines, like they had the propellers on the sides instead of being like the big built-in turbine engine. It was like the propeller ones and everything, dude. It was
every time I see those, I'm like, this thing's gonna fly off. And
it was a whole different experience.
Smack me in the
Turbulence was 10 billion times rougher in those. Then
it just felt like you were doing somersaults.
Oh no, it just felt like I was in an earthquake. Like a big ass earthquake, just like going.
Did they have those in South America?
Earthquakes?
Yeah.
No, but I experienced it in Alaska.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't expect that.
The first one, I didn't know what was going on. I was like, what the hell is happening? Because it wasn't a real big one.
Yeah.
Neither one of them were like real big. But the first one, no idea what was going on. It was real weird because it was like real quiet. And everything else, like everything was still, and then I just started. You could just feel the build up, like this, like just sudden build up, and everything just started kind of shifting and shaking a little bit, and then it just stops. And I'm like,
the fuck just happened?
Yeah, I'm like, I was like, what the fuck was that? And my buddy, he's like, oh, it was an earthquake. It happens all the time. The second one was a little bit more
Dramatic.
shaky and dramatic bounciness. And that one it was like first woke up, I was out in the living room just watching some TV, chilling, and everybody else was still asleep, and it just happened same way. You could feel almost like right before it happened that it was coming. And yeah, it was a little bit more the couch, like the chair that I was sitting in, like actually like shuffled a little bit over to the side. I'm like, okay.
So I know this isn't funny, but apparently right now there's a lot of flooding going on down in one of the lower states, and talking about like picking houses up and just fucking moving them.
Yeah.
The whole house.
Yeah.
And all I can think about is just the worst dad joke ever. Like, well, honey, I'm so glad we're moved. You know,
Hey.
It'd be the most horrible fucking time.
Yeah, probably. I couldn't imagine that.
When you said it, you could almost feel like it was going to happen right before it happened. Why do you think that is?
I believe with humans and people, we have some sort of just natural connection
to the earth,
to the world. Yeah. Kind of like how people can feel when rain is coming, when a big storm is coming. You get those people. Like,
I would have to disagree on this one. This specific example, because there's barometric pressure.
Right.
And barometric pressure can actually mess with your joints and your bones.
Well, yeah, but even the people that are even so much as people that are like, I could smell that it's gonna rain.
Oh yeah,
like that kind of obviously like the pain, the stiffness in the joints and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, that's why. But I'm talking like people that they smell the air and they're like, a big old storm's coming, and sure as shit,
it's gonna rain.
Yeah, here it comes. Kind of like that. It's like this weird.
I thought that was just Midwesterners.
Might be. I don't know. It might have just been me. But it's just this weird feeling, like kind of like a calm before the storm.
Yeah.
Kind of ordeal. Because I don't know.
Something feels funky.
Yeah, I don't know if it's anybody else, like maybe like you or anything like this, but if I'm like, say for instance, I'm in this room and I'm like, I'm facing that wall over there.
Mm-hmm.
Even if somebody doesn't make a sound, I could feel it when somebody comes in.
Oh yeah.
I just feel like it's like a change of pressure.
I definitely understand that.
You know, something like that.
Yeah, it's energies, bro.
Yeah, I feel that all the time.
And see, I think that I think a lot of people get upset when you use the word energies like that. But really it is. Even if, let's just say, for example, it's not energies and it's microtransmitters.
Yep.
You know, I walk into a room, now my microtransmitters are in the air, let it be skin cells or my breath, whatever the case may be. The fact of the matter is there's something still coming off of me that says, hey, I've entered the room.
Yeah. No, so, I mean, it's kind of like that, where it's just like that weird feeling like,
something's about to happen.
Yeah, and then it does. It's like, oh.
Now, see, I get these really weird fucking things. Like, and it's happened a lot, where I'm at work, or even if I'm just fucking about or having fun. I've been in the middle of the funnest nights of my life, and my stomach twists all of a sudden. Like there's something wrong.
Yep.
Something's fucky.
Yep.
And every time I have that feeling,
there it is.
Something has happened. So it really fucks me up, because now when it happens, I've got a list of people I call. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
His dad alive, his grandma alive, his grandpa alive. You know, Terry have a stroke. Like what? I just go down a list.
Something's got to be nothing. Something's not right here.
Right. And it's really weird, because it's usually the same people.
Right.
And luckily and unluckily, it's never those people.
Yeah.
But it's always someone close to them.
Yep.
Like the last time I called my mom and I'm like, I feel like something's wrong. What's going on? She's like, oh, well, your great aunt just passed away. And I'm like, oh, that's nice. Like, I didn't know the great aunt.
Right.
But mom was fucking upset.
Sure. And you probably felt that upsetness.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, yeah, no, I think that's a very real thing.
I know that's a little different from just someone walking into a room.
Yeah.
But I feel like it goes along the same lines, but just on a bigger scale.
Yeah. And I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know if it's like just a change in the pressure of the room, like the air pressure of the room with having another body in there, or, you know, like I said, whatever it is, it's just I can always tell because like my daughter, she's a ninja. She wants to be
Super quiet.
super duper quiet, but if she walks here recently, she likes to hang out in her room and stuff like that, and I could feel it if she walks into the living room where I'm at, and if my back is facing her, I just know that somebody is there, or I have that feeling and I turn around and nobody's there, or at least I can't see them. Don't matter.
See, that's when it gets tricky because it's like, listen, you spooky bitch.
Yeah.
I don't know where you're at or who you are or what you want.
Right.
But you better make it known.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah,
I've never had that feeling here, but I've definitely had that feeling in the past.
I have it all the time. Problem is that I'm kind of on this thin line between a full-on believer and a skeptic.
At all times. At all times,
because,
right? I definitely understand.
I've had plenty of experiences where I could easily be full-on believer about, I guess, spirits, ghosts, and stuff like that. But what makes me as a skeptic is I've never actually full-blown seen something with my eyes. Like, I've never seen an apparition with my eyes. I've never seen a full-blown I mean, out of the corner of my eye.
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask you about. Like, does it make a difference if it was in focus or not?
I would say yes, because like even where I live now, all the time, I feel like I see shit out of the corner of my eye. But, you know, whatever. But have I actually turned to look, or if I'm like in the bathroom brushing my teeth and I look up in the mirror seeing something behind me, never seen anything like that. So, where countless other people have claimed that they have seen stuff like that.
Wait, at your house?
No, not at my. I'm just mean in general.
Oh, okay.
Countless other people have claimed that they've seen full body with their own eyes, in focus, full body apparitions, whatever it is.
So this is where I become skeptical, is because everybody's psyche has a breaking point.
Sure.
And if you take, for example, schizophrenic people.
Yep.
Schizophrenic people deal with these apparitions and these hallucinations 100% as if they're real. They can see a whole person standing there. So I'm not suggesting that everybody's a little tiny bit schizophrenic. That's not what I'm saying. Right. I'm just saying it.
Well, I mean, everybody has that like voices in their head, like that inner voice and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but
which listen, I've been meaning to ask you about this. How do you feel about that debate of people that don't have an inner monologue?
I think they're full of shit.
Thank you, fucking thank you. How do you not hear your own voice?
Yeah.
Like, as I'm thinking something, or even as I'm talking now, I can be having a different thought going on in here, but it's still my voice up here.
I mean, I can literally think of nothing. I mean, that I'm sure that's a male thing. Just literally, what are you thinking about? Nothing. No, I'm really thinking about nothing.
I can't.
Sometimes I can.
Like, I cannot clear your mind thing.
Yeah.
I literally cannot do that.
But I do not, I'm right there with you where I do not believe that it's not possible. Everybody has to have some sort of inner voice. Mm-hmm. It's just, I think it's part of human nature. You have that inner discussion with you.
They say that they have the inner discussion, they have the inner voice, they just don't hear it.
And what the fuck? I don't understand then. Then how are you?
Yeah, like, are you reading it off of a page? Is there a phantasmal typewriter?
Are you closing your eyes and there's just this dialogue book just right there? Like, no.
Yeah, I don't believe it. I think you're full of shit.
I just don't. Maybe they just don't. I wouldn't say they don't want to admit it, but maybe they just don't recognize it as.
Or maybe they haven't learned that that's what it is.
Maybe, but I mean, if you explain it to them, I mean, wouldn't they have learned it? Maybe they just don't see it as it is. They just don't put 2 and 2 together to make 4.
That's such an intriguing thing.
Yeah, I don't get it. But something along the similar, like kind of similar when it comes to like inner stuff. Like, I don't remember dreams at all.
None.
Nope.
Not even from when you were little.
Well, let me backtrack a little bit. 98% of the time, I don't. There are a couple of them here and there, very few and far between, that sneak in that I can remember. But it's very vague details. Like maybe just like a second of it that I remember, not the full blown from start to finish. But most of the time, when I go to sleep, once I fall asleep, literally it just feels like a second. The next second, boom, I'm awake.
So I've experienced both. I've experienced the closing your eyes and then opening them and feeling like no time has passed.
Yeah.
But I've also experienced where I've had dreams that I thought the dream lasted a full day. And
Turns
it's really
out it was only an hour.
No, it's not even that. So I didn't know this. Most dreams actually only last 30 to 40 seconds.
Yeah.
Most people don't know that. It's supposedly been scientifically proven that dreams only last, 30, 40 seconds, and you have thousands of them a night. And it's like, if that's the case, if I had thousands of dreams a night, why does this one specifically stick out?
I don't know.
That's something that's more interesting for me.
I guess it depends on what the type of dream, what type of dream it is.
Most of the dreams that I remember and stick out usually are something that I could tell somebody and they'd be like, I think there's a deeper meaning here. It's not just I rode a cow through a field. No, it's like this person who is from my past showed up in my driveway out of nowhere.
Most likely, the way I would assume that would be is something subconscious. Like maybe that's something that you were wanting to do.
Mm-hmm. And that's the way I view it. It's subconscious, maybe trying to heal something.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe like, hey, you feel you need to talk to this person, so I'm going to bring her forward.
Yeah.
Something
Always
like
possible.
that. So I can definitely understand that.
Just so weird that I don't know. Very, very, very rare.
Do you at least have leftover feelings?
No.
So I've also had, it's like a middle point.
Yeah.
I'll wake up and I'll be upset. Like I'll have tears down my cheek, or, I will just feel sick about a situation that I don't even know why.
Yeah, no, Angie's the same way. Like on there where she dreams and she has those moments where she'll wake up and whatever that feeling is, it carries on throughout the day because she's whatever the dream was.
Got her fucked up.
Yeah, not me.
Mm-mm.
I'm just awake and I'm like, damn it, I'm awake. I can't believe this is really happening.
Here we go again.
Yeah, but no, I would assume for me, part of that is probably due to the fact that I'm a very light sleeper. Like the smallest of noises can just wake me up. That's why, like, I've told Angie for as long as we've been together and living at the apartment that we live in, I have to worry a whole lot about somebody breaking in because they could break into the back door and I'd probably hear it and wake up.
Right.
In a heartbeat. Like I can hear if like one of the kids gets up and like goes to the bathroom or whatever, I can hear it from the second from the second they get out of their bed. I can hear it and I just wake up.
I am only like that if there is someone in bed with me.
Right.
And so like I remember watching the kids when I was younger. Mm-hmm. If we took a nap and they were sleeping next to me, as soon as they were done sleeping, I was done sleeping because it was a change in their breath. It was a change in the way that they were. But if I'm if I'm just hanging out with friends and I pass out on the couch, nothing. There's not a single fucking thing in this world that's going to wake me up except for me.
Except that goddamn alarm you used to have back in the day.
So what? We get drunk. Yep. So what? We smoke weed.
You'd wake up just in time to hit the snooze button and go back to sleep.
You goddamn
like 9 or 10 times.
I needed more sleep, bro.
Apparently. Yeah.
I'll also never forget, I'll never forget my first day at GameStop. Getting smashed the night before. You waking me up like, Cody, you're supposed to be at work.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be where?
Work.
He's like, I'm going to take you to work. Drove me to work, and then Kelly's just, hey, how you doing? Just as loud as possible.
She knew.
Does your head hurt?
Yep, she knew what was going on, and she wasn't about that fuckery. Not at all. I love Kelly.
I missed her. I haven't seen her in a long time.
It's been a bit. It's been since before Rona hit that I've seen her.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they're doing good. Her and Ryan, they're doing real good.
That's awesome. I'm happy for them.
Yeah, but I guess to rail back in.
I'm sorry.
You're good. You're good, man. I'm here to talk. I don't care.
Man, sometimes conversations just evolve and they go.
You're
wild like horses,
right.
bud. Wild like horses.
But
Talk about shadow facts.
what about shadow facts? What do you
Kind of, ethereal horse. Go back to ghosts.
I'm lost. I'm lost.
Just forget about me.
But no, I'm kind of like I said, I've had a lot of experiences in my life dealing with things like, I guess you can paranormal, but never have full blown like anything with my eyes that like guarantees 100% for a fact, bang, that's what it was.
I've never seen anything, but I've heard things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, heard things like felt the vibrations of the sound, made all the hair on my body stand up.
Mm-hmm.
My hair's almost 1.5 feet long now, and it was, it was on edge. I look like a Cynthia doll.
I've had stuff like that happen at the apartment that we live in now. It hasn't happened in a while, but when we first moved in, ooh, buddy, let me tell you, it was like our apartment is in an old ass house that was at some point converted into like a two separate apartments, a top floor and a bottom floor. And we first moved in there and stuff like that, and everything was great. And then a few months into it, I think I was the one that first started noticing things were something's not right here.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like bad or anything, but I remember distinctly there was one day, I think Cameron, my son, he was at his dad's for the weekend. Lily wasn't born yet. Lily wasn't alive. And Angie was somewhere at work, maybe hanging out with friends. Either way, she was not there. It was just me. At that time, my computer and stuff was in our bedroom because that was pretty much shortly after we first got together. It wasn't like how it is now in the living room, but it was in our bedroom, and I'm sitting there. I think I was watching something, and our floors, like certain parts on our floors, creak when you step on them. Old house, sure. They all do it because it's all hardwood. And I'm sitting there chilling, just watching. I think it was like Twitch or something, and I hear literally in the next bedroom, because how it was like our room at the time was like right here, and then there was a door on this side on this far end, because my computer was like right here. That door would go right into the next bedroom.
Okay.
And it was closed. No, I'm sorry, it was open. Now it's closed all the time, but it was open. But literally, I could hear what sounded like somebody in that room walking, leaving the room out into the main hallway where our front door was. I could hear the footsteps and the creaking, and then it just stopped. I'm like, what the fuck? Fuck's in my house?
Yeah.
Get up. Sure shit, nobody's there. Great. Great. Immediately start thinking, great, this place is fucking haunted. All this, that, and the other. Be yawning, man.
I can't
Don't be yawning. We still got daylight.
No, I got a tickle in my throat.
Right. And it just...
So, hold that thought, because I'm going to go grab some batteries real quick.
Hey, you're good. Oh. Don't forget to like, subscribe, podcast. Trust me, you'll have a good time. Here.
It's not always a cough when I got a tickle in the back of my throat. Yeah. Sometimes it's a yawn. I don't know what it is.
But that was the start of it. And it didn't it wasn't like Paranormal Activity where you set up cameras and it just progressively goes from 0 to 100 real quick kind of shit.
I wish it was, man. I wish they were all like that.
I kind of do, but then in a sense I kind of don't.
Drag me out of this bed. Oh. If you ain't going to beat my fucking ass, you don't deserve to be here.
I mean, would I want to experience that? Yeah, probably, just to say I experienced it. But I think in the middle of the moment, I would probably shit myself.
Oh, in the middle of the moment, you think you're dead.
Yeah.
It's because there's nothing you can do to combat that.
Yeah, this is it.
That's like I keep hearing things about Wendigos keep being brought up around me by people that I have never heard talk about Wendigos before.
Okay.
Now, I understand why it's popping up on my Facebook. I understand why it's popping up on Google stuff. I've been talking about it. Obviously, the phone listens.
I have. Good.
But these are people that I have never heard them mention Wendigos before. Right. And it keeps popping up. And I'm like, there's one right out there. There's got to be one sitting in the woods.
Maybe.
And my friend told me, he's like, listen, if you ever come across a Wendigo, you're dead.
Probably, yeah.
I was like, you don't understand. I will fuck a Wendigo. You don't know me, bro. What you got? What I'll you try. Want? You know? And he's like, no, you're dead.
I have noticed, like, within the past couple of months, more things about Wendigos and skinwalkers and stuff like that keep showing up on, like, TikTok.
Yes.
And I'm like,
that too. Like, why?
I'm on here watching goofy, stupid shit, and occasionally I'll get, like, the thought talk roll in. You know, that's normal. But now all of a sudden it's more things about just, like, cryptoid Appalachian shit, like Wendigos and Skinwalker and stuff like that. And I'm like, I didn't Google any of this shit.
I didn't do none of it.
Yeah, I'm like, what in the fuck is going on? But things started kind of slowly heating up. Like, we would start hearing more and more what sounds like people walking around, especially cliche at nighttime.
As a mouse.
Probably. I mean, a big ass mouse
big
to make the
mouse just
floor creaking. We would hear shit in the attic. Sound like, you know, occasionally we would hear what sounded like somebody talking or like somebody walking up there.
Okay.
Up in the attic. Or just like the attic, even to this day, creeps me the fuck out. Like it always has. Like that particular attic.
That's why they're built.
Creeps me the fuck out for some reason.
They have no purpose except for to fucking creep people out.
Angie, I think even to this day, still wants to take a Ouija board into the house, and I'm like, I will murder you if you do.
That's like the one thing. Like I can't get behind it.
Like you just don't believe it. Like what? Like you can't like.
I can't want people doing it. Yeah, don't fuck with Ouija boards.
Yeah, that's what I told her.
It's not fun and games.
No, I've seen it happen firsthand. Like, I haven't seen anything negative or bad happen. Don't get me wrong, but I've seen people use it. I was with a group of people that used it down at Moonville Tunnel. Yeah, oh. It was me. Larry was there. Liz Euler was there. There was Jesse was there.
Oh yeah.
There was a whole bunch of us there, and they were using it, and they all get like super duper fucking freaked out afterwards, and we're leaving and everything else. Everybody's all like scared and paranoid because they think they're hearing stuff and stuff in the woods now, all this, that, and the other. And I'm like, shouldn't have messed with it. Like,
listen, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes.
I mean, granted, I guess I could have fell into that trap because I was in with the crowd. I didn't touch it or anything.
If your hands weren't on it, you technically weren't involved.
But, you know, well, it's kind of like that whole guilty by association.
Yeah, you were the first white girl that died in a horror movie is what that was.
Yeah.
Like you had no association with the assholes fucking, you know,
nope, but I'm dead.
Crystal Lake up. But you were the first one Voorhees came across.
Right. So, you know, and I don't know if anything happened to them according to Larry afterwards, and even like before then, because this was shortly around when his mom died.
Okay.
And she died because oddly enough, they were trying to go there or up to Moonville.
His mom?
Yeah. What it was him, his mom, their friend Randy, and I think it was his girl at the time. They were all going up to Moonville just to go there.
Okay.
You know, scary place. Let's go check it out. And as they were going down the road, making a right-hand turn on the road, the car's like brakes gave out or something. Horrible, huge car crash where they collided into a bunch of trees, instantly killed the girlfriend of the dude and his mom. Those two were the only ones that were.
I never knew the details of how she passed.
Like, there's way more gruesome stuff that Larry told me about in there, but that's the gist of it.
Gotcha.
So we went back. That whole group of us went back there. It was like maybe a few months after.
Was it kind of like a healing thing for Larry?
I don't know necessarily if it was a healing thing or not, but he would claim at that time, even beforehand and especially afterward, that he would hear like, because at that time, after everything happened, he was living with his grandma. Yeah, and his room was down in their basement, real nice, like real nice house. Basement was real nice and everything else. But he would claim that he would hear his mom like talk and stuff like that. I never heard it. I would stay down there too. Because that was back when we were like really close friends and we were always hanging out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I never heard any of it or anything like that. But he always claimed he did. But yeah, it was and you know, I never messed with it.
Did he ever claim that he heard it while you were around?
It would be while I would be there staying the night too. Like,
and he'd just be like, "Hey, did you hear that?"
Well, no, he wouldn't wake me up or anything because it would be like late at night when we were sleeping, and he would like wake up and he would hear.
Okay.
Apparently, his mom. And
the
stuff
only reason
like that.
I bring this up is because when I say that I've heard audible voices, when I've felt those vibrations, I have never been in someone else's company.
Sure.
It's always when I'm alone.
Yep.
And that's where the skeptic in me comes in, because it's like,
it's
how much of this is and how much of this is subconscious.
Your mind just playing a joke on you.
Yeah.
It's the same way with me. Most of the time, any of my experiences that I've had, it's generally been by myself.
Yeah.
Or it's one of those things where somebody might be in the same house, but they're in a complete different room. They're not right next to me.
Okay.
Like, or in the same room.
Now, do you think that, not necessarily that it could be our mind playing games on us, but it could be a thing where we are just alone, we're just vibing, doing our thing, and we're at our most vulnerable state?
Maybe.
Because there's no outside influence. There's nothing that we're really focused on. Even if we are focused on something, it's not like focused on something like a conversation like this.
Right.
You know, there's no exchange of energies when you're just sitting there
alone,
alone, playing with Rabbit.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, no, I think, that very well could be. I don't know the logistics of it and why it happens, or I'm not gonna claim to try and be some kind of expert that knows the ins and outs of everything when, no, I really don't.
Well, nobody can. Nobody can.
Try though.
Well, the thing is, I genuinely believe that there is some kind of spirit world or spirits here working around us, and we just don't have scientific tools to measure those yet.
Of course we do. We have spirit boxes, EMF detectors, all that stuff.
The closest thing I think that I've seen is, honestly, thermo.
Yeah, like the FLIR cameras.
Yeah, just watching like, oh, well, look at this. This region of air that's man-shaped.
Yeah.
Boom. 38 degrees negative. Out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
I don't know how well that those can be manipulated.
Well, it's all based off of heat, so I'm assuming that they could be manipulated. I'm sure it probably wouldn't be that difficult. But if I was trying to do stuff like that, like if I was doing like a paranormal investigation, I'll be the first one to admit I ain't going to try and waste my time to try and set up phony malarkey shit, because that's just too much time wasted. So if it was me and I caught something like that, I didn't fake it. You think I'm going to waste my time trying to fake this shit? Most of the time, it would probably be like 98% of the time, I probably wouldn't find nothing on there, because I'm not going to go out of my way to try and.
Well, yeah. Well, that was so like the other thing, like the spirit box with the radio waves. Like, I have a feeling that would be so difficult to actually manipulate, unless it's a thing like you pre-record it.
It's a possibility. I mean, there is that skeptical claim.
I mean, the amount of time you would have to put into get 3,000 little freeze frames and then jut in a single word, and 3,000 more freeze frames,
or
then
just
jut
edited
in
with video software. It comes in like that. There's people that are really good at that kind of crap. They can do that.
It's really disheartening. I want this to be real so bad.
And I believe, the way I think of it with that kind of stuff is, I believe, because all in all, we're just energy.
Yeah.
So, and energy can do a lot. I mean, a lot of things are powered by energy. A lot of things do with some sort of energy, whether it's electrical energy, thermal energy, stuff like that.
Until I find out that I can earthbend.
Right. That'd be so
amazing.
So amazing.
I'm gonna wreck people's shit.
But
they'd be like, "Hey, Cody, when are you buying a house?" Boom.
I made a fucking house.
I made a fucking house.
But, you know, I believe that they can manipulate those kind of things because according to paranormal stuff, you know, a lot of that stuff is like a battery to them where they can just suck that energy that's coming off of whatever specific device it is to be able to easily I guess it is the more energy that they draw, easier it is for them to start doing stuff IRL.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of works the exact same way as us with food. You know,
In a way, it's kind of like a food source to them.
Right. So they finally get strong enough to move that object.
You know, something like that. So, I mean, I believe that it's possible. I've never messed with a spirit box. I was told not to because it's a lot like a Ouija board. You know, you mess with a spirit box, you can invite something in that you don't want there, and then guess what? They ain't leaving.
So I think that if you believe in spirits this way, it's really simple to just invite spirits in. But it's also as simple as, hey, get the fuck out.
Maybe.
You're not welcome here anymore.
But when you go into believing spirits, in my opinion, you also have to believe that there is good and bad.
Sure.
Like you have to. There
but
is.
you can set your grounds. Sure. You can say, hey, this is a neutral territory. Both of you are welcome here. But the moment you start fucking about, you're all leaving.
Here's the thing. Like if you invite something that's inherently evil, what makes you think you telling them you can't stay here is them just going to be like, oh, okay, bye.
Because they need you. They need you. Believe it or not, they need you.
Maybe so. But do you really think they're just going to be like, oh, okay, bye? Or are they going to be like, you think I'm going? I'm just going to hide in this corner here for a little while.
And you know what? That's cool. Keep your ass in the fucking corner.
Keep your ass in the corner.
Be good, and you can stay.
Don't
it's that simple.
No shit.
Listen, don't break my shit. That's all I'm saying. Don't be breaking. Don't be fucking throwing shit around. Like, don't be messing with my electrical shit.
Yeah.
You're welcome to stay here. I don't care how evil, how good you are. You're welcome to stay here. Just don't be fucking around. Up. You did what?
I rubbed my eye and I goofed my contact up.
Uh-oh.
All good.
Do we need to break so you can get it figured out?
Pause it real quick.
All right, man. All right, we are back.
Fixed it.
One of those evil demons that JV was talking shit about done crammed his contact up in his eye.
Stabbed me in the eye or something. I don't know.
All right.
But, yeah, so, you know.
The bad spirits are allowed to stay as long as they don't fuck shit up.
Exactly.
But tonight, now apparently I have to do a banishing ritual because they fucked my friend up. I have to be gone, thought.
Nothing really evil, like malicious has happened with any of my experiences or at the apartment that we live in. Yeah. It's just been kind of like at the apartment we lived in, it's been kind of stuff like that where we hear people like walking around, you know, in our apartment, up in the attic, stuff like that. We even had like a local paranormal team come out.
How did that go?
That was interesting. So it was almost like full blown like Ghost Adventures type shit. Like they came out.
Really?
Real nice people, real cool people, everything else. But they came out and it was like full blown like fucking like home base equipment set up. Like they had all their like recorders, like everything, like cameras.
Capture your whole house?
Yeah, almost in a way. And they came around and did their thing. And apparently they claimed that they caught stuff on the EVP.
Would they show you?
No, they never did. They told us that it was actually pretty bad stuff.
Yeah, so no, you're not going to tell me that you caught really bad shit.
Right.
And then not show me.
Right.
I need to know if me and my family are safe here.
Yeah, yeah. And this, at that point, when that happened, that was when Angie was pregnant with Lily.
So what was it? Was it like, oh, you have to pay this amount of money to hear? They just wouldn't show you.
Yeah, no, we didn't have to pay for any of it. Like, I think it was Angie, was the one that originally hit them up about it. And like it all, like I'm not trying to discredit them at all. I'm really not, because like I said, I still every so often will talk to a couple of them if I like see them out in public,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And I'm not trying to discredit them at all. It was just this is just my experience with spirits and stuff like that. They came out, did their thing. They said that they had to go through it all, like, normal procedure,
Right.
stuff like that. But we never got to witness or like listen to any of it. So we're just kind of left in the dark with it. Now they did their whole thing where they like they did like the sage, like I don't know if it was like white sage or just whatever else, like the smudging thing to like cleanse bad juju out. They also did this thing where they put these like little tiny circle mirrors on every window facing outwards.
I remember that. Because when I come over, Angie had explained that to me.
Yeah, so apparently what that was how they used the sage and everything else to expel, like push away out all the bad feelings, the bad vibes, juju,
And the mirrors kept them
it.
from re-entering.
Exactly. So cool, whatever. Yeah, never heard anything back about like what they captured or anything like that. So we're just kind of left in the dark with it. I mean, things did seem to, it could also be like a placebo, but things did also kind of just like die down a good bit. We didn't just hear all the time. It sounded like people just walking through a fucking hallway, shit going on in the attic anymore.
Right.
We had an occasional bump in the road every so often.
Bump in the night, you mean?
Yeah. Like the most recent one was after my dad passed. But no, that wasn't anything too crazy.
That's something I was actually going to ask you about because you mentioned that Larry heard his mother all the time.
Yep.
And I know that both your parents are passed on.
Yep.
Have you ever felt like they have contacted you?
Once. And it wasn't my dad. It was my mom. So I was giving Lily a bath, and she was sitting down in the bath. I was washing her hair and stuff like that, and I forget what I was talking with her about. But as I was doing that, out of my left ear behind me, I heard straight up what my mom just say, "Hey." Same way she always would when she would say hey to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounded to a T like her from behind me.
Yeah.
I stood up and I'm like, I do the natural thing. I turn around, nothing's there. And I'm like, look back, and Lily's just in there playing with some toys. I'm like, did you say something, Lily? And she's like, no. I'm like, fuck.
Did you ask her if she heard it?
No.
Were you afraid to, or did you just not think about it?
Didn't think about it. And
that's the first thing. Did you hear Grandma?
Yeah. And well, funny thing is with her is that she every so often will occasionally say that they're there. That whole thing with kids, apparently, like they're able to see spirits, stuff like that,
right?
That adults can't see. Occasionally, she will say that they're there, my mom and my dad. Like, okay. Like my dad's like sitting on the couch, chilling, stuff like that.
Does she say like Grandpa's here?
Yeah. Yeah. He won't just full blown like out in the middle of nowhere just say, hey, Grandpa's here. Like we have to ask her. That's why it's still part of that skepticism, because it's one of those things where you're
our suggestion.
Yeah. But we're not trying to suggest that they are there.
Right.
We're asking, hey, like, have you seen Grandma or Grandpa? Because every so often she'll bring them up.
Okay.
She misses them, stuff like that. And then, every so often we'll just be like, have you seen him? And most of the time it's no. Every once in a while she's like, yeah. And we're like, oh.
Oh, okay.
It's like, okay, like, where'd you see him? There, she'll point like out in the hallway. Something like that. There was the one time with how she said my dad that was very specific. He was sitting on the couch. Okay. Cool.
Now, do you ever pry just a little bit more?
Yeah, I try, but she's not really.
Like, what was he wearing? or
No, not necessarily that. Like, what was he doing? Oh, did he say anything? Yeah,
Yep.
that kind of stuff. Don't really get much on beyond that from her.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was the one time that I experienced it from my mom, and that it really did like freak me out a little bit. Like I wasn't scared shitless or anything, but I'm like, what the fuck?
It's an eerie feeling.
Yeah, because it's like,
so what happens for me, like when I hear these things, I'm always alone, and it's my name.
Yeah.
It's someone from my past saying my name.
Yep.
Now the thing is, these people aren't even dead.
Yeah.
That's the thing that fucks me up. That's the thing that fucks me up the most, and that's
They're
why.
alive.
Well, yeah. So that's why I think that my skepticism is like that's your subconscious.
Sure.
You just miss that person.
Sure.
But I mean, it's clear as day every time.
I've had that every so often where like I'll hear not necessarily my name. Like I've told Angie this for a while ago, and her being a social worker and like expertise like the mental health area of it all, she kind of raised an eyebrow a little bit because it is a similar starting like.
Are you fucking crazy?
Well, it
like is that the way she works at you?
Hearing stuff like that is kind of a build up to, you might have some sort of like kind of like schizophrenic.
Well, yeah, because I mean we're at the age now. That's when it sets on.
Right. Apparently, I don't know, but I would occasionally, every so often, hear just this in my ear. I would just occasionally hear this like, "Hey," like this real loud "Hey."
It's like that's intense.
Yeah, and I'm like, and most of the time it would happen like right as I'm about to fall asleep, right when I'm in that point of still being awake and falling asleep.
Yeah, that midway point. Yeah,
is when it would happen. One, I just remembered, back with the whole like stuff that was going on in our house. One other thing that kind of freaked me out was I experienced, I don't know if it was a full-blown version of it or a partial version of it, of sleep paralysis.
Okay.
So it was at that time where our bedroom was still in that room where my computer was, and our bed was up against the wall, right, and where I slept was right next to that door that I was saying that connected to the other room. That door was closed. I was laying in bed, falling asleep, everything else, and I don't know I don't know how long it was afterwards. I imagine I fell asleep, but I woke up, and because I felt what felt like a little kid right next to the bed and like had their like hand on the bed. Because I'm, like I said, I'm a very light sleeper. And Cameron used to do that a lot. Like Cameron would wake up in the middle of the night and try and crawl into the bed.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And I could tell every time that he would do it because I could feel him put his hands on the bed. Stuff like that. That's what it felt like. And I turn around and there's nothing there. And I'm like, okay, fall back asleep. And then I wake up and I literally can't move at all. Can't move like any part of my body. I'm laying on my side, facing facing towards that door. I don't see anything, but I feel what felt like something climbing into bed. Like just this extra pressure on the bed. And then slowly moving up.
She said, sit your ass still.
Apparently. Just slowly moving up. And it didn't like up my body. And it didn't feel like it was like suffocating me or anything like that. But I was just like sitting there thinking in my head, like, what the fuck is going on?
Did you feel terrified?
I didn't really feel terrified.
You just confused about the whole thing?
Yeah, like straight confusion because it's never happened before. And I didn't actually see anything.
Right. Like
I was just looking over towards the door, stuff like that. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
So I always wonder if, episodes of sleep paralysis are not actually just dreams.
Yeah.
This is really hard to tell. You know what I mean?
Well,
so I remember one time I woke up and the way my room was set up, I had a coat rack on the back of the door. There was a coat hanging down. And unfortunately for me, I decided to keep my door propped open at night with a chair that had a bunch of clothes on it.
Yeah.
You know that chair, the one that you like
toss all your shirts
toss
and
all
shit
your
on,
shit
yeah.
on. I woke up and I seen this figure standing there. And I've never been so scared in my life.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking, this is real fear. Like, this is, I'm going to die fear. I mean, I hit a deer on a motorcycle and was like, yep, you're going to be okay. The whole way I was rolling.
Yeah.
I thought this was it for me. I thought someone was in the house and I was dead. Until my eyes were able to finally focus in the dark. And then I realized, you're a fucking idiot, Cody. That's just a coat and some clothes. But in that moment, that was not being able to move my body. That was the most terrifying part of it all.
Yeah.
I couldn't even talk. I couldn't scream. I couldn't nothing.
No, nothing. All I could do was just move my eyes around. But like I wasn't freaking the fuck out. Most likely, probably due to the fact I didn't see anything. I could just feel it. It was more confusion and like, you know, what in the hell is going on right now?
Dude, I straight up thought it was the man in the hat. I thought I was fucked.
Oh God. Oh.
Which is really weird because when you hear stories about the man in the hat, it's never a malicious thing.
Sure.
He's always just like standing in the corner. He's always just like watching you sleep or sitting at the edge of the bed.
Yeah.
Never anything malicious. At least I've never heard a malicious story about the man in the hat.
I don't think I have either. But no, I think from I read something about sleep paralysis, and they scientists or whatever came up to the conclusion that what it is basically it's like a brain glitch, because what typically happens is when you fall asleep, your brain goes into this mode where you start dreaming and everything else.
Like REM.
Yeah. And when you go through this experience of sleep paralysis, it's either right when you're falling asleep, going into that, your brain going into that overdrive dream mode, or it's when your body is waking up and you're coming out of that overdrive dream mode, but your brain hasn't kicked it off yet. Which is why, because when you hear most stories about sleep paralysis, it's normally people will swear to the deathbed that they are wide awake because they're in their room, because most people, when they dream, they're not dreaming of where they're at. It's something completely different. You know, you're not dreaming of your bedroom at that point.
I had one dream about my bedroom.
Yeah.
Not to get off topic, but it was really weird. It was when I was a kid. I lived on Stone Road Trailer Park.
Yeah.
And me and my dad's wife at the time did not get along. Like, looking back on it now, she's a wonderful woman. She took care of me. She loved me. She fed me, clothed me, all that. But at the time, she was the worst thing on the world. She was my stepmom.
Yeah.
And I remember she had this white Bengal tiger plushie, like a little stuffed animal you used to get at pumpkin show all the time. And Dad's favorite animal is wolves.
Yep.
And the only reason I remember this dream so vividly, because me and her was like, we were fucking going at it for like 2 days. I was being a brat. And I went to bed that night and I kept hearing a growl. What in the fuck? And I sit up in the bed and I'm looking around. And this giant Siberian tiger lunges at me.
Yeah.
Like it is going to eat my fucking shorts.
Yeah.
At that exact moment, from above me, from the wall, a giant wolf comes out of the wall.
Yeah.
And they start fighting
There
over
you go.
top of me.
There you go.
I am terrified. I'm like, you know, freaking the fuck out, don't know what to do. And all I can think about, like looking back on it now, that tiger represented his ex-wife. And Dad was represented by the wolf, because they were fighting all the time about me and her being into it, or me being a brat, or, you know.
It probably was.
That's what that was. But when you say nobody ever dreams about being in a bedroom, I remember that dream.
Well, when it comes to like, I mean, for the most part, you know, when you dream, it's not necessarily in an environment that you are always in or
familiar
that you
with.
fell asleep in.
Yeah.
It's normally somewhere else. So that's why. But apparently what happens according to that is when you wake up, I'll just go for the part when you wake up, your brain is still in that dream mode. Mm-hmm. Even though you're awake and you're aware of your surroundings. And when you're in that dream mode, your brain apparently does put your body in some form of paralysis.
Oh, so it's like a real paralysis thing.
Yeah, like, so according to this like study or whatever that they did on it. I don't know how legitimate it is, of course, but so don't quote me as this being factoid because it could all just be bullshit, but it's just what I read. But
listen, don't lie to the people. We all know you're an expert.
No, I'm not.
World traveling.
Yeah, okay. But, you know, your body apparently will put you in a state of paralysis, I guess, maybe to keep you from moving around while you're dreaming and stuff like that. Maybe there's a connection with people that sleepwalk in that whole ordeal.
That's
where their body doesn't put them into that.
That's something I've never done, and I'm so fucking thankful for that, because I would have been dead.
Right?
I'd have been dead a long time ago.
Maybe there is a connection to that. Like I was saying, like, you know, that their body, people that sleepwalk, their body doesn't naturally put them into that state where they're not supposed to move while they're at rest. Mm-hmm. And that's they get up. Obviously, they're in some sort of dream state when they're sleepwalking.
Like there's a disconnection there.
Yeah. But you know, it's your body is still, your brain is still in that mode, but the rest of your body isn't. You wake up and you're aware of your surroundings. You're in your room, but your brain is still glitched into that. And if you're in that dream state, all kinds of weird shit can happen. In all honesty. Especially, you know, because people have very vivid dreams.
I have vivid dreams in the sense of like when I'm seeing somebody I haven't seen in a long time or that I miss from my past or whatever, like if I touch them, I feel them.
Yeah.
If I can smell them, I
knew.
You know, huh?
I said I wish I knew.
You don't. It'll fuck you up. Because you'll be, listen, bud, trust me, it'll fuck you up. You'll be like, oh, I miss my fucking ex-girlfriend, and then trying to get over some shit like that, and then they show up in a dream, and then they're there again. And in the dream, you know, they're yours, and then you wake up and you're like, fuck, I was doing so good. You know? It'll definitely, it's a gut check. It's a gut check for sure. I do wish that I could do the where people control their dreams. Lucid dreaming. I wish I could do that, man.
Yeah, I mean that would be cool. It would be cool if I could actually remember what I was dreaming about. But yeah, that would be cool to be able to like specifically do something or tell myself something and it happen.
You know what I think would help you, honestly? Dream journaling. You don't remember any of them. So your first few days is going to be like, I don't remember my dream. I don't remember my dream. But eventually, one will catch you.
But the problem is like, for the most part, I don't wake up in the middle of the night.
You don't have to wake up in the middle of the night. It's just when you first wake up. I do think that you might have some kind of sleep disorder.
Probably.
For you to be sleeping that light. Because if you're never hitting REM sleep, if you're constantly tired, you know, if you're not hitting REM sleep, you're not actually repairing. Sure. You're just surviving.
Yeah.
And REM sleep is very important for the brain to repair things.
I mean,
because trust me, the person that I am today versus the person that I am before I got my BiPAP machine, two totally different people when it comes to waking up and getting moving and things like that. And it used to be I could sleep for 18 hours, no problem. I've got 6. I got 6 good hours now. 7 if I'm really tired, 8 if I'm exhausted. No more than that.
Yeah. Well,
my body won't let me.
I'm the same way. Like there are occasionally times where I will oversleep, and I feel like I just feel like absolute crap if I oversleep. I don't feel like, oh yes, I overslept. This is great.
Right.
But for the most part, I'm the same way. I'm like 6, 7, 8 hours, like the same way, and I'm good. I'm done. So I think that I am in some sort of like deep sleep recovery, stuff like that. Because I mean, yeah, there are days when I feel tired, stuff like that, but I don't have that much issue getting out of bed. Like if I need to get out of bed right when I wake up, I'll do it. No big deal. I'm not going to be sluggish about it or anything.
It's the willpower for me, dog.
Yeah, probably. Probably.
I'd be like, nah, I don't, not today.
Yeah.
But you can also trick yourself by, I've learned some tricks like you can count down from 10. Okay, I'm counting down from 10 and I'll be out of this bed before 1. And for some reason, your brain will trick you into being like, you got to fucking move or something bad's going to happen.
Fuck up, damn it. But, Yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those things. Like, I'm sure that I am. I wouldn't see why I'm not, but I just don't remember any of it.
I'm really sad that you can't. Like, I want to hear some weird fucking like elephants or balloons dreams from you, you know, because like I've had some wild kooky dreams. I will say this though, like I talk about wanting to be able to lucid dream. I've came close. But when I say I've come close, what I mean is I'll be in a dream and then I'll realize it's a dream. But the moment that I'm like, oh, this is a dream, I'm awake. Yep. I'm awake. It's like my conscience. Yeah, it's so aggravating. Or like you've never got to experience the I'm trying to go back to sleep so I can restart like step back into that same dream. I've done that one time and one time only. Huh. And I don't know if it was just because I wanted it that bad or what. Sure. But like I can't. It's hard to describe to somebody who can't remember their dream.
Well, I mean, it's not every, like, 100% of the time. Like I said, 98% of the time I don't. There are a few here and there that I do remember them, not in vivid detail or anything like that. Like, I couldn't just pull one out of the hat right now and tell you word from start to finish.
I could.
But I do every so often know that I've had one. And yeah, and I mean, I'll have some sort of feeling about it where I'm content with it, or I'm like, happened, you know?
Those are the good ones when you got to wake up and you got to ask somebody, you're like, is it still 2021?
Right.
Like, are we still on lockdown?
Right. I don't know. I get a lot of deja vu though.
Yeah. Way too much.
Yeah.
Way too much.
Like
mine comes in snippets.
Yeah.
Like I remember this exact next 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And it's so weird because it's like I've seen this before.
Well, I want to say for me, it's more like I'm in the middle of the moment, and then in my head, it's like, wait a minute. As it's still going on, my inner voice is like, we've done this before.
Yeah. Mine's never done it before. Mine's seen it before.
Yeah.
I'll see so it'll be like I'll be moving through the day or whatever, and then just one slight motion, someone's doing some kind of hand gesture, and it's like it matches up on screen in my head, and I'm like, fuck, I know this.
Mine's mostly like something like going on, like for instance, the last time I remember it happened, and it was a conversation me and Angie were having. I don't remember exactly what right now. We were talking, and she was sitting down in this chair doing something, and I was getting up, walking out towards the kitchen. That's when it triggered. I was like, this happened before. Like this exact same conversation, word for word, exactly what she's doing, exactly what I'm doing. And it's like, huh? Mm-hmm. The TV was playing the exact same fucking thing.
So this is where I'm going to propose something, and I want to see what you think about it.
Yep.
What if our brains are like doing a random draw during dreaming? Because they say we have thousands of them a night or whatever. You know,
it's all good.
My dog is killing me.
It's all good.
So what if it is, because it's like we have thousands of dreams a night. What's the chances that we didn't create that situation in our mind just close enough for our brains to be like, we've seen this before.
Yeah. But
take it a step farther. What if we're selecting realities? What if we're selecting threads?
You know, I wouldn't say I'm a strong believer. I really want to believe that life is a simulation. Yeah. I really want to believe it.
I can dig that.
I really want to believe it.
I mean, we could our brains are during a set where our player is selecting which way we're going to go.
Whatever it is, yeah. Because, I honestly believe that the further time with humanity goes on, we will eventually figure out how to do something like that, where we, quote unquote, plug into the Matrix in some sort of fashion. What's to say that it hasn't happened already before?
Sims.
Yeah, we already did, The Sims.
We already did.
But in the extent of, like the actual make,
Okay. Sims VR.
Yeah.
Boom.
I mean,
Right there.
VR, it's kind of
Done.
VR isn't a thing of itself. I mean, granted, it's in a very baby stage and you can clearly tell that it's not real, obviously, but
You say that, but look
I
how many
have-
motherfuckers have jumped through their TV.
I have a VR headset at home. And I've played some games on there like No Man's Sky and stuff like that, like space stuff. And it's just crazy. Like you play it on a regular like computer and it's one thing. And then you play that same thing on VR and it's vastly different because it really makes you feel like you're there.
Yeah. But that's what I'm
It's
talking about. I've watched so many
crazy.
videos of like 40-year-old men jumping through their fucking TV.
Yeah. Because they think it's actually there, So it's just, I am willing to. I don't believe that. Yes, 100% we are in a simulation, but I'm willing to believe if that came up, if we found out that we were, yep, cool. I'm not going to try and deny it.
I think our whole generation is like that.
Maybe
I really do. I think our age group specifically, from like 20.
it's because of the Matrix.
26 to 35.
It's because of the Matrix.
You think it's because of that movie specifically?
I bet you it's because of that movie.
Well, fuck, man. Look at how many movies they made that came true later on.
Yeah.
There is a whole conspiracy circling around the fact that Hollywood media shows us these things to desensitize us when it happens.
Probably.
And like Aliens. How many fucking alien movies are there?
I mean, I'll be honest with you. If an alien came down and walked out of its ship, I wouldn't be scared. Like, first I'd be thinking, is this real life right now? Like, is this legitimately happening?
Yeah, who's pumping fucking psychedelics in the air?
Yeah, and then B, after that, I'd be like, why me? Why'd you show up right here? And then it's like, hey, like,
So I've had enough crazy experiences in my life now that why me would not be a thought. Like I just understand that weird shit happens to me.
I mean, the why me in the sense of there's like 7 billion people on this planet.
Right.
Why are you parking your ship right in front of my front lawn?
I think that you're looking too far into it. I don't think the aliens are super, super duper intelligent or all knowing. I just think they might be just a little bit more advanced than we are. Or they just have better fuel systems than we do.
They're advanced enough to get from one place to another a lot faster than we are.
Okay, but all that takes is a better fuel system.
And more intelligence to think of it. I mean, will we get there? Probably.
Not necessarily, because look at nuclear energy now.
Well, have you seen a lot of the recent things that they've been pulling out in the news about like aliens and stuff like that?
No, I don't pay attention to it. When it happens, it happens. When they show up, they show up.
So it's becoming more and more of a... I mean, aliens have always been like a topic that news media and stuff like that or anybody would talk about, but it's starting to become more of an accepted thing simply due to the fact that government has kind of
Confirmed it. They didn't confirm aliens, they confirmed UFOs.
Yeah, they kind of confirmed
Which
it, but
honestly,
they still
it's
didn't.
a big step, but it's still not admitting aliens because it's a big step for America to swallow their pride and be like, we don't know what that was.
Right. And so now there's more people that are coming out, including military people, talking about their experiences that they have. A lot of them is like just a lot of them that were ones that I've read and watched them talking about is about mostly they focus on like the propulsion.
Oh yeah, kind of like when you're talking about like Bob Lazar.
Yeah, like him and not necessarily him, but other people. But yeah, in that same.
I mean, Bob Lazar talked about it. He said there was a propulsion system in that aircraft that he worked on.
But how it's so vastly different, and like how like even like there's this one.
But what I'm saying is at what point is it not necessarily that they're more advanced than us and they're just from a different evolutionary tract than us? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, okay, so, the atom bomb.
Sure.
Most powerful explosive we have at the moment. Splitting an atom. That amount of force could just be their gasoline.
Very well could be.
And it's kind of one of those things where it's like, we developed an engine that could contain combustion in order for it to be an engine to propel us. They could have done the same thing. They just said, this is what we have to work with. How do we get it here?
It very well could be. That's a very realistic possibility in my opinion, because I'm sure that I'm without a doubt 100% certain that we're not the only intelligent species this entire galaxy.
Oh, sure.
There's just no there's no fucking way.
We're not even the most intelligent.
Yeah.
We're not even the only intelligent species on this planet.
Right.
Look at orangutans.
Sure.
Orangutans are incredibly intelligent.
Chimpanzees, sense of
incredibly intelligent.
Of where we've come.
Okay.
And stuff like that.
But the scientists are viewing right now that great apes they're entering their own stone age.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all part of the, I'm not denying that at all, but
like I'm 100% in agreement that with a little bit of human interaction with wild great apes, Rise of the Planet of the Apes could honestly be a very real thing very quickly.
You start seeing a damn monkey with an AK.
Listen, that's a real thing already. That's not a fucking new thing. There's videos, you can look it up on YouTube of chimpanzees fucking with African troops, snatching up their rifles and shooting people. That's a real thing.
Oh yeah.
Now, granted, they're not like aiming and pointing, but they're just slinging this motherfucker around, finger on the trigger.
But no. So what I think is it's very similar to how you were talking about with, like, say, for instance, the atomic bomb. Like, we discovered the atomic bomb, we created the atomic bomb and what it took to make it. And then the next step along was the hydrogen bomb.
Is it?
Pretty sure.
Okay.
Because I believe it was actually, and I'm terrible with history and stuff like that, but I believe it was actually a hydrogen bomb that was in the Hiroshima, Nagasaki.
It could have been.
It was the one.
Either way, it was one of those two.
Yes, but and then we have. It's the same way with all of our technology. It keeps advancing, keeps getting better and better. Part of it is because that's just, I guess, the natural evolution of technology. But it's also because we keep getting smarter and smarter.
It was the atomic that was dropped on Nagasaki.
Okay. Anywho. But we keep getting smarter and smarter, so we keep coming up with more creative ideas to make something newer, better, smarter, faster, whatever the case is. That to me is the same. It has to be the same way with any other intelligent species that's out there that would be similar to us, or maybe not even similar to us, in the terms of them being able to hop into a ship and travel to a whole nother fucking galaxy and just hang out there. They had to have started somewhere. I doubt that's what they started with.
Oh, sure. I'm not, I agree with you in that sense. However, I still go back to, we're gearing up to go to Mars right now. Yeah. Like, right now we have the youngest astronaut in history gearing up, ready to go.
Yep.
And supposedly it's supposed to be a 30-year journey.
Yeah, I don't know.
So by the time, if she comes back, she'll be 60-some years old.
No, I remember, speaking of that, I remember seeing this one thing about they were having this like sign up for people to go to Mars.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it was going to be years away before they actually did it, but you could still sign up for it. I don't know if you may have had to like pay to get into it. I don't know. But one of the things I remember seeing specifically was if you were selected and you chose to do this, you were most likely not coming back home.
Oh,
you were
sure.
there.
Yeah.
You go there. You live there. You die there.
Yeah.
And it's like
in a very short time.
Yeah, maybe. Or you could be perfectly fine.
It's a 30-year journey. Look at us. I'm 28, you're 32.
Yeah.
By the time we get there, we're already 60-some years old.
It's true.
Then what? We got air supply for 30 years? How many plants are we taking on this ship to create air?
I don't know.
Does anybody know? Is anybody an herbalist? Are they going to keep these plants alive?
I'm sure they would. I'm sure if something like that was to happen, they would have very specific people or groups of people to do very specific things, not just a bunch of randos like me and you just on a rocket ship heading there. There would be randos like me and you headed there, but there would also be very specific like scientists.
And those motherfuckers coming back.
And engineers.
They coming back.
and whatnot.
Those are 19-year-old scientists that are coming back.
Yeah, probably. You're
You're 70.
Right.
This is your payout. $6 billion because you spent your entire life taking some fucking Joe Schmo schmuck.
That would be
to
crazy.
Mars. It's gonna. I have a feeling it's going to happen like that.
It will. I am almost positive that it will. It's just when. They claim like Elon and everything else claim that it's going to happen relatively soon in comparison to
dude, what's going on with him? What's going on with Elon? I've been seeing nothing but fucking trash tabloids about Elon.
Oh, probably due to the fact that he was hyping up Dogecoin during that Bitcoin.
It had nothing
debacle.
to do with Dogecoin. This was Elon's a fucking evil villain.
Oh,
I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? They're he's a super villain.
Yeah, because it's probably due to the fact that he's a very, very wealthy, rich man, and in a way he's kind of like Tony Stark. He's very rich, has a lot of money to play with, a lot of really cool gadgets, and that's what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Sending shit to space. He's creating full-on fucking electric cars. He created
flamethrowers.
Yeah, he created 500 flamethrowers and sold them. Just because he also has this company called the Boring Company. And literally I think one of its first things, if it hasn't done it already, was to basically make an underground tunnel from one building to another, in a complete different, either in the same city or in a complete different city. Just to have that, so you're not going through traffic and everything else. It's this dude has so much money, and I mean, he's a smart dude as far as I can tell.
Oh, yeah. You know what my favorite thing about Elon is?
What?
How codependent he is. He has shut reporters down, shut interviewers down. And they're like, what's this stuff about you have to have somebody? He's like, yeah, I have to have somebody.
Yeah.
There has to be someone with me. I have to have a partner in life.
Yeah.
They're like, don't you think that's a little codependent? He's like, don't you think you're fucking dumb? He just gets them, man.
Look at the name he named his child. That shit.
Oh, the numbers?
Yeah, the Aeon, number, fucking, weird. I'm like, hey.
I know his ex-wife has come out and spoke about it a lot. She's she's not necessarily being an Elon hater, but she's definitely this man is different.
Oh, yeah.
He is different from any other man that I've ever met.
He's clearly built different. Clearly.
You think he's the next advancement?
Maybe his intelligence.
No, I have heard a theory that autism is the next evolutionary thing.
I mean, and I would assume he probably, even though he's not diagnosed probably with that in the spectrum, I'm assuming that probably in some way plays a part in it, where it's that savant syndrome in a way. Because a part of the autistic syndrome is that they may have a savant syndrome where they are really good or really intelligent and good about a very particular thing or a group of things.
It seems like he's not just one particular thing.
But that's why I'm saying I don't think he's actually autistic or any way, but he is stupidly smart, or he plays himself off to be stupidly smart, one or the other.
I think he's just confident. I think don't get me wrong, I'm not taking away from him. I think he is very smart. But I think he's just confident.
Yeah.
The way he speaks, it's not, if we can do this, we're going to. It's we are going to. And I think that...
I mean, he was talking about nuking Mars to cause
life.
Greenhouse gases to form and basically do a terraforming.
Yeah.
Nuke Mars.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Fuck it.
And I don't know why I got on that tangent. I've just been seeing a lot of tabloid trash articles about him. Because
it doesn't surprise me.
I guess Chillicothe just had a little bit of a conflict because the board decided to push for Tesla electric car charging stations.
We have one here.
Yeah, we already do, but they're wanting more.
Good.
They want way more.
Good.
And people were talking about hey, we have a fucking homeless problem. And they said,
true.
Well, the charging station is an emergency thing, so we don't have to do the board or council wait or whatever, so we can do it today. We don't have to have 3 hearings. And they just basically shoved it down people's throats. That's the take that I got from reading all this.
It could be.
Well, people that are city workers, that used to be city workers, said that that's what they do. They make something that's not an emergency sound like an emergency to push it on people.
Yep.
He said, so now taxpayers are on the hook for this $30K charging station or however much, whether they like it or not.
Right.
I'm like, well, Chillicothe taxpayers are. I'm not in city limits.
There you go.
But
no, I think that that is what it is. That's a whole nother thing, a whole nother pot to stir.
I'll stir. I'll stir
speak.
Like a cauldron, baby.
Yeah. No, I believe I haven't seen anything like super creative on him or anything like that. It doesn't surprise me, really, because it can happen to anybody that's like that. We hear shit about Jeff Bezos all the goddamn time. Not only thanks to Bo Burnham, but
why? Why would you do that to me? Oh my god!
How he's doing his own space program. There's another fucking dude that's doing his own space program. Space program became privatized.
Oh, that was the smartest thing they could have done. That was the smartest thing that America could have done. Because the moment that you allow these millionaires, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I do agree with Trump on this. The moment that you allow all these fucking dragons to use their gold for something that they want, you're going to advance society in a major way.
Yeah.
They all want to go to space. And they did. That fast. So fast. Yeah. Because they're fucking dragons. They have the money to
play with it. Yep.
Right. Versus NASA, who could be struggling.
Yeah, because they had to
they have to rely on federal money.
Yeah, they had to get all those approvals.
Versus Jeffrey's like, fuck you, I'll build this rocket in my backyard.
Yep.
Who's going to stop me?
Exactly.
I'm just saying, like,
it's great.
That's one thing that Trump did have right. The moment you allow billionaires to play ball with things that they want to play ball with, the advancements happen. Because the technology that he probably had to have created for them to have a commercial flight to space, this is where probably one of the only things that I'll ever admit to being trickled down. And it's that technological advancements do trickle down.
Yeah. Yep.
And, it's going to make flights a lot easier. It's going to make flights better because we're going to find a new, this is the next best thing.
New, like a better,
those 13-hour flights from, Panama all the way to New Jersey. They're not going to be 13 hours no more. They're going to be an hour.
New radars, new propulsion systems, new everything.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So what I'm getting at is billionaires are the key to aliens.
Could be. Very well could be. That could be the determining factor of whether or not aliens. Hey, but there are people out here that believe that aliens exist among us.
So listen, I didn't want to bring this up, but so where I work just had inventory. And there was one guy specifically, and I'm not going to describe him other than the fact that it was a 90-degree day. He was wearing his inventory t-shirt over top of a thick-ass polo.
At all. I don't get those people at all.
I don't care. He's a lizard person. He has to be.
God. Because
I'm pouring sweat.
Yeah.
And it was casual day.
Yeah.
So we got to wear, whatever kind of t-shirt we want. So we were all just in t-shirts, having a good time. And there's this man bundled up.
Yeah. Like, I don't get it.
Well, some people will say, like, if you wear two shirts, that undershirt, well, this is actually common in the South. Like in Tennessee, you'll watch a bunch of people run around with two shirts on at the same time when it's hot out. Because what happens is you sweat and your inner shirt will soak up that sweat and your outer shirt will insulate it so it cools you off. It actually does work. I tried it. It's really weird, but it works.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what this man was doing. He was just a lizard person.
Well, that's a whole other thing.
Is it though? What if lizard people are aliens?
Well, obviously.
And on top of that, this year, for the first time ever in history, scientists believe that they have witnessed a reptile using a stick as a tool. What it is these crocodiles are balancing sticks on their head to attract birds because they think birds want these sticks for their nest. They come down to get the stick, chomp, chomp.
Yeah.
So they consider it using a tool. The first recorded reptile using a tool. So lizard people exist.
Probably. We'll have to talk about that in a whole nother one.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you think it's time to roll
Yeah,
out?
I gotta roll out, unfortunately, for now.
Right when things are getting exciting with the lizard peoples.
We'll have to talk about more of this on another one. Don't worry.
Listen, I didn't mean to scare you off with my,
No, you didn't scare me off with
Elon Musk talk.
I'm about it. I'm about the lizard people. I'm about believing that there's that the center of the earth is hollow and there's fucking King Kong and Godzilla living in there. I'm all about it. So
I'm not about that because I 100% believe in giants. Out of all conspiracy theories, that's my one. There were giants that roamed this earth. I don't care.
Nobody could tell me different.
All right. Well, I appreciate you being on the show, good sir. I appreciate you helping me with my audio. Hopefully it's doing a lot better.
Hopefully, yeah.
So we're going to find out once we're done recording. So as always, everybody, thank you for being here. Thanks you for tuning in, not turning in. Don't turn in just yet.
Turn up.
Yeah, turn up. There you go. Turn it up. So I'm available on Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Breaker, Anchor, Pocket Casts, and Radio Public. Give me a like, give me a follow. Your support means the world to me. Hopefully I can get better equipment soon. Bring y'all a better show. In the meantime, thank you all for being here. I hope you all have a lovely evening.
Bye.
Curved horns.